I just realised I have a cigarette in my hand. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. And hope everybody's well. The intro was rather short. I'm sorry, we're working on it. But what do you think about the new music? I like the new music. Or do you want the old music? Wiccan, my love, how are you doing? Hey, Brenda, how you doing? Wills, you like the new music? Oh, you sadly missed the old music. Okay, Wills. DJ, how you doing? Brenda, welcome, darling. Oh, you like it, Gracie? I hope you are, darling. You know, I quite liked it. I was like, dun, 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 and then it ended really quick. So, DJ, I've had a good rest. I am well rested. Hey, Sierra, my love. How are you? Rock, hello, hello. Raymondo, hello. Oh, thank you so much, Ramanda. Yeah, I've had a rest. My voice has come back. I'm past the jet lag, which I have to say hit me like a ton of bricks after I got back. Hey, Classic Grunge. Hello, hello. And I'm much better, even though I'm still on American time, I think. So let's see who's in the house tonight. Obviously, Mel, good morning. Wiccan, good morning, my love. And actually, Wiccan sent me a photograph of her looking beautiful with my pearls that she got. And these are pearls 2.0, people. These are pearls 2.0. Like, Lady Luck, I hope your live went well. It was great live. Well done. It was lovely. Kat Randall, how you doing, my love? How you doing? Chicken Snake, you're going to ask for the link? All right, no worries. So Chicken Snake is going to be up with us tonight because Chicken Snake is a good friend of our celebrity that we've got in the house today, which I'm really looking forward to. Kev! Hello, Kev. Hope you're well. Hope all's good. Wonder, hello. Kev, how you doing, my darling? So without further ado, I've got a little intro that Lady Luck. Oh, and before I just start, I just want to say a massive thank you to Lady Luck, who's really helped me out with like notes and more notes on my phone. And she's done this intro. So without further ado, let's introduce our star with a little tiny intro that Lady Luck prepared for us. So let's do that. Let's prepare the... Welcome, Alison. Welcome to my channel. Can my mods please drop Alison's link throughout the interview? Guys, sub up to Alison. Let's get into it, Alison. I'm so looking forward. How you doing?
Good. How are you today?
I'm okay. I took a week off because I needed it.
Yeah.
And now that I'm back, I'm ready to rock and roll. You like it? See, they liked your intro. That was very rock and
I
roll.
loved it too. I thought it was great.
Oh, we'll have to thank Lady Luck. She did it for us. So thank you, Lady Luck. You're absolute
Thank
diamond.
you, Lady
You don't
Luck.
have a link. Oh, I can drop it quickly. Let me just drop it quickly so my mods can she says can. So hang on. We got, where is it? Hang on, guys. Hang on. I have got. Do you want to tell us a bit about your channel quickly while I'm finding the link?
Oh, about my YouTube channel. Well, where I talk about my book, about all the rock and roll experiences I did. I talk about a lot of different rock subjects, different groupies I've interviewed from the 80s because we don't get enough of our words out there. So, yeah, it's all rock and roll from someone who was there, you know?
And what was it called?
Cocktails and rocktails, because we always start with a cocktail. It's a great way to start your day.
Cocktails or night. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to find the link now because I am subscribed to you. There it is, got it. Copy link. Right, so I drop it. If my mods can copy this and sub up to this beautiful woman, let's get started. There's a link.
Thank you.
There's a bed. I got an echo.
Pardon?
I've got an echo. Have you got your YouTube on, Alison?
I don't have my YouTube on right now because I'm just
Okay. Let me just close all my tabs. I'll just code. There's a
okay.
bad echo? I don't hear an echo. Alison is echoing. I don't hear the
I do
echo.
hear a little bit of a feedback, and it might be on my end.
Hang on, let me see if I can adjust your mic settings on my side.
Okay.
Edit mic settings, reduce mic in the background. Try that now. Try now, darling.
Check 1 2.
Keep talking, because I can't hear it.
Okay. Check 1 2. Hello, Cleveland. Welcome to the
Hello,
show.
Cleveland. Just Alison. Is she still echoing? Because I just... Hey, Ozzy, how you doing, sweet? Is she still echoing? Guys, Alison, can you talk?
Okay, I think I still do have a little bit of an echo. Excuse me.
There's a bit of a crackle on your... Ask if she wants YouTube link open to a tab on her computer. Hey, John. Have you got anything open other than StreamYard?
Nope, just that.
Yeah, I did that. Kev. I've already done that. Oh no. But I didn't hear any. I can't hear no echo. This is a problem. Let me have a look. Mic settings. Oh no, don't mute. Mic settings. Yeah, I've automatically adjust mic volume. Right. How's that? How's that, everybody? Try on your end as well.
Better.
Oh. Hey, Wanda, I said hello, didn't I? Right, keep talking. It's not you, Mel. I can't hear no echo.
I think it's probably me.
Echo's still there. I tell you what. Why don't you come out and then come back in again?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the Nightbot's telling me off. Nightbot says fix your audio. I didn't realise that the Nightbot was going to tell me off. She'll come back and we'll start, because we did a little test run earlier and it was and I didn't hear no echo. Oh, thank you, Lady Luck. Thank you. In her Linktree link. Thank you. We will. You love Nightbot. Nightbot has a mind all of its own. I don't control Nightbot. What was that? I've been saying that since she joined. What's that, Wills? Maybe drop down and come back up. Chicken Neck, we had a little trial run. I didn't hear no echo. Well, once she comes back, we can start the interview. She's back. Hang on. Feet are weird and you are too. Nightbot is like Alison.
Okay, are we there?
I can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I'm still echoing, it seems like.
Oh, Alexander. Hello from Germany. Germany in the house. Woohoo. Okay, let's get started. If it gets really bad, we'll have to just try something else. Echoing.
Okay.
Damn, I don't hear no echoing. I don't hear it. Still echoing, Mel. Have you got your earbuds?
Nope, I actually took them out.
It might be better if you put them in. Yeah, do you want to try
Okay,
that
let's try it
and see
again.
if that works? A Grand Canyon echo. Damn. Hey, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was. I can't hear it. This is weird.
Okay. Let me go here.
Brenda says, still feeding back. Try turning down your mic.
Okay, how's that?
Well, I can't hear an echo. It's only like I've got all your echo cancellation on. I've got reduced mic background noise automatically adjusted.
See, I can hear you with my headset.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
Some better. Oh, you can't hear me at all?
I can hear you, but not with my headset. Let me take.
Sorry, guys, we're having technical difficulties, which I don't know why, because her sound is coming through your speakers and is picked up by the mic. Hey, hi, darling. Hi, Kazoom. How are you, darling? Her sound is coming through my mic. Let me check my mic. Hang on. Let me check my mic. Hey, Beast Mode. How you doing? Hang on. So, stop mic cam. No. What the hell? Um. Oh no, we don't want that. Right. We're just going to carry on. If it's really bad, guys, we're going to have to
Okay.
check your speaker settings. My speaker settings. Um.
Mm,
Echo cancellation. Kizoom, I've got it on. I don't understand what the hell's going on. Hang on.
sure.
Mute mic. Settings. Oh man. I wonder if chicken stack. I'm gonna drop the link. Let me see if it's me, if you're echoing as well, because I can't hear no echo. With my oh, beast mode, that's nice, that's lovely. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. So this link is just for chicken snake. Hey Justice Jane, how you? Molly's good. Okay, all right. All right, so let's get started, shall we?
Okay.
All right, let's get started. So, before we go into the real, like, juicy stuff, yeah, I've got a little bit of background on your upbringing. Can
Okay.
you, hey, Bex, hi, sweetheart. A test would be mute your mic, Mel Pandora. A test would be mute your mic. Oh, okay. Let me mute my mic and then you can talk.
Okay. All right. How's that? Okay.
Right. So, hey, Westin. Okay, so I've got a background. No cat, Randall. I'm not letting anyone on panel, darling. This is just it's an interview, sweetheart. I just wanted Chicken Snake up here because he knows Alison. So don't take it personally if I don't bring you up. We can open up the panel if Alison's comfortable with it
Yeah.
afterwards, yeah? Okay, so I've got some background to your childhood. Do you want to tell us a little bit, just so we can get an idea leading up to your very colourful life? Because you know, you have had a very colourful life. But tell us a little bit about your background.
It was pretty much small town girl moved to the big city. Had a very normal upbringing with golf and, Rainbow Girls, which is part of the Masons. Youngest of five kids, just very basic small town upbringing. And then moved to Salt Lake City. Met my first rock star, pretty young while I was away from home on a Rainbow Girl convention, which is part of the Rainbow, and then moved to Salt Lake City and just went wild from there at 15.
And at 15, you say you went wild. Did you have strict parents? Hey, Brian, did you have strict parents? Is that why you kind of went a little bit?
Pretty, yeah, they were decently strict, as strict as anybody's parents could be at that time, because the 70s and 80s babies, we were kind of raised as the feral generation. So, I had pretty strict rules, but at the same time, I was pretty good at defying those rules. So,
So you say you met your first rock star at, hey, Classical Crunch, at
keep up the
15.
crunch, keep up our channel.
Did you meet your first rock star at 15?
Okay, a little bit before that.
A little bit before that, you met a
Yeah,
rock star before you were 15? And
yeah.
how was that? In a concert? Hey,
No,
Shay, darling.
like I said, I was part of the Rainbow Girls, which is the female part of the Masons. And you start out at 12 and you work your way up to being the head debutante. And you have statewide and national conventions. And we happened to be at a statewide convention in Kansas City, Missouri. Van Halen was staying at the hotel, and it was, of course, David Lee Roth in his golden years. And yeah, he plopped down in the hot tub, and how could you resist?
So you met this rock star. I'm assuming that you were bamboozled by the rock star. Um, how on earth did it become you being a groupie? Because obviously in England, we don't really have groupies. It's not as big as it is in the US.
Yeah.
Explain to me, how do you just one fall into that lifestyle?
Just by nature, I guess. And like I said, it was just something when I met David Lee Roth just made a lot of sense to me. And then when I moved to Salt Lake City, I went to my first concert. I got my first rock star and had that experience before I went to my first concert. And when I went to the very first concert, there were these two girls walking in these leather dresses and this beautiful hair. You could tell they were going backstage. I'm like, who is that? What is that? I need to be that. I want to be that, So
Apparently, Brian said you still have a bad echo. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix it,
I'm
guys.
so sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know how to fix it.
Let me see.
Melpando, it would probably work best to have your mic set to button push to talk instead of open mic. Your mic set to button push to talk instead of open mic. I don't understand what that means. Um, is Mission here? Is, I don't know what that means. Hang on.
Is that working better? Wait, do we have the echo?
I've just unplugged and plugged my mic.
Okay.
Just move your mic. It should. Oh, you mean maybe the mic is picking up from the speakers? Oh, I'm with you. Okay, I get it. Mission, hello, darling. Okay, so guys, is that better? If I move the mic over here, which is away from the speakers, is that better?
Let's see.
I don't hear. I don't hear nothing. Um, okay, so you saw these girls. They were all dressed up like punk rock. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it gave us 80s rock, so more of the, big hair, the leather outfits, the mini dresses, heels.
So how? Because I'm just trying to understand. Like, I know that in your book you kind of state that you were saying that, and we will, if my lady, like, if you could drop the link tree again, so people, you guys, you got to read the book or get the audio. Still echoing now. God damn! I've put the mic over there.
Okay, let me go here.
Um. So how do you know when people are going to come in? How do you get to the backstage? How does it all happen? Can you just talk us through it? And then, like I said, because before we get to the really juicy stories of who you've met, who you've been with, the situations, and I'm 79% into the book. Classic grunge.
Oh, nice. Oh, I love
I'm
her.
gonna
She's
move
such a great
my.
girl. I love classic grunge. But you just get into it by default, really. You go into the concert. I remember walking into my first concert. Like I said, with David Lee Roth and Van Halen meeting him at the hotel was just sort of haphazard. But then when you move to Salt Lake City, and it's like a friend of mine had a friend that was a groupie, and then I saw those girls walked into the concert. It was just natural instinct. I'm like, okay, those guys are behind the stage. Those guys are in the front of the house. Those are the people I need to go talk to.
So, so at 15, is that when you would say that the groupie started, the groupie lifestyle?
Oh, very much. Yeah. But really swung in the 60s.
Right. Hey, perfectly imperfect. So at 15, I'm assuming you're looking through your magazines, you're looking through papers, you're seeing when people are coming in, what bands are coming in. How were you able to afford getting in?
We didn't pay for tickets ever. And plus, my mom, I mean, I didn't come from, I wasn't from a poor background by any means, but my mom would give us the tickets for $5, and I think I paid for one ticket my whole rock and roll life.
Wow. And, and,
Yeah,
and, and so, in regards to, because at 15 is quite a young age, right?
yeah,
In regards to safety, was it safe? Were you in a safe group of people?
absolutely. There was never once in my life that I did not feel safe or protected or taken care of, or I knew that it's a family in rock and roll, and I felt that from the very, very beginning.
Sorry, I was just muting what during room. And so at 15, link for chicken snake. At 15, you're going to these concerts. You've found the right people to maybe direct you right to
Yeah,
the backstage. Um, how what was your first experience, and was it a positive one? Was it a negative one with a rock star, and who was that?
and that was David Lee Roth. What I met before I went to my first concert in Kansas City, Missouri during one of the conventions. And yeah, it was absolutely positive experience. It was a blast. He was one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I stayed friends with him for years. Yeah, it was absolutely positive. I lost a lot to him that day. Because it was like either a small town boy, my age, who's going to be like 3 seconds, or David Beyond.
So, so you lost a lot to him. You had a positive experience,
Oh, absolutely.
which is great because you do hear stories, don't you? Or sometimes not so positive. So, how did the whole like? Is that when the whole rock and roll lifestyle launched for you?
Pretty much. I mean, it was mostly when we moved to Salt Lake City, because Salt Lake City was the groupie capital of the world at the time. It was very unexpected. It was a small town, Salt Lake City was full of beautiful women who were rebellious preachers' daughters, as Lars Ulrich from Metallica put it. So it was just kind of natural. We had fake IDs. We saw the tour buses at the hotel. We're like, hotel bar.
Horrible echo still.
Yeah, yeah, but
Horrible.
I see. I don't understand what the hell's going on
Is
because
it
I
me?
can't hear nothing. Can you hear the echo,
Here,
Alison?
you talk, Sean.
Hello? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too.
I'm wondering if maybe if she came in through the YouTube link. I can hear an echo. I can hear my echo now.
All right, why don't you come out, Alison, and then I will drop the link in the chat. What
Okay.
you do is once you click the link, make sure you close YouTube and let's see if we can get it fixed that way.
Okay. All right.
Okay. It might be me because apparently you're echoing.
Hello?
He is echoing and so is her. So it must be me, but I don't
Yeah.
understand. Hey, native atheist, I don't understand
I'm
why.
gonna I'm gonna go out and come back in too.
Oh God. Guys, I'm so sorry. Technical issues. I'm so sorry. I don't understand. Hang on. Let me go into. I think it's mouse side. Yeah, I don't understand now. I've moved the mic away from the speakers, right? So the mic's over here. It's not you.
Hello? I don't even hear myself on here now. So I don't have headphones on. That may be a different factor. I have no headphones on. It's just my speaker. I can't hear anything. So I can see you moving your mouth, but I can't hear a thing. But I don't have headphones.
Well, this is going great. Oh my God. I think I need my fan. Technical issues. There you go. Right, Chicken Snake is back. MC, hope you're well, darling. Right, let's see if this echo's still here.
Hello, hello,
Yeah,
hello,
but you do. That's silly. You do that, and of course it's going to sound like an echo.
hello. Yep, there's still an echo. This is so weird. This is rock and roll though.
This is rock and roll. It goes wrong. I hear you, but not Mel. You can't hear me.
I can hear you, but I can hear the echo as well.
You
And I
can
know
hear
it's
the.
got to be annoying for people.
Oh God, this is so frustrating. Okay, hang on.
Take two, take two.
Let me go into my settings. Hang on. Let me go into my settings.
Is this your
Settings.
first live since you've been back?
Yeah. Hang on. Hang on. Settings. Settings. Audio. Echo cancellation.
My sister's in chat. She said maybe try muting all the mics while someone's talking.
Right. So I've pressed all the bits and bobs, but now I can hear the echo. Are you right? Hang on. Let me mute you. Alison, speak.
Hello.
Right. Mel, it's okay now. Okay.
Can you
So
hear me now?
yeah. Okay,
Perfect.
guys. I can't hear any echo. I've muted Chicken Snake.
Hello?
Oh, Chicken Snake, it's coming from you.
Well, it was before I was even on. There was an echo.
Yeah, but if I mute you, 1 second. Right. Is there an echo with just me and Alison?
I don't think so. And I adjusted my phone, but the settings on my device.
Right. Yeah. Well, Raymanda says, yay. So is there an echo just me and Alison? Oh, that's much better. Okay, perfect. Chicken Snake, it's you.
Well, I wasn't up here when the echo was going on before.
No, I know, darling, but I muted you and there's no echo.
Okay, well, mute me. I'll mute myself again, unless
Okay.
I have to talk.
All right. Right. Anyway, let's go back. So we were at the bit where, you had a relationship with
David Lee
first
Roth.
and for those who don't know, who is he?
He was the lead singer of Van Halen, and he's done a lot of solo stuff. And yeah, pretty just California blonde boy.
Wow. So after, you get into the lifestyle, you started going around, you have a relationship. When the relationship ends, tell me about, because I know you've met some very, very, high end, up there. Tell me about some of your wildest experiences with or unusual experiences that you were in with these huge celebrities, and tell us who they were.
Well, obviously, there's the most famous one, which is John Entwistle from The Who unfortunately passed away next to me in Las Vegas one night.
Oh,
So
I'm
there's
sorry.
that. A lot of stuff with
Sorry, did you say
Metallica.
passed away next to you?
Yeah.
That must have been quite heartbreaking, traumatic.
Yeah, it was. We knew each other for 13 years, and just, he went to bed. A little bit of a party between him, his personal assistant, Cy, and his art dealer, Bill. Did a little bit of one thing of something that I don't do, that I don't bother with. And yeah, he had 75 to 100% blockage in his heart. The stuff was cut with some other stuff that should have been in there. So it was just kind of a deadly combination.
And how old are you when that happened? Because that is, in my opinion, a traumatic experience.
Oh, it was very traumatic. And I was 31, almost 32. He was 57.
I see. And did that in any way put you off? Like, this is too much. These rock and rollers are crazy, or was it like, no, full steam ahead?
No, it actually, because rock and roll was a family, and I was 17 years into my little rock and roll lifestyle by that point, and 13 years into John. So it just kind of, the family kind of wrapped around me and protected me, and it just made me feel more part of this family, and just forever, I'm there, I'm stuck.
And so, in regards to, before that, because you said before that, tell us about some of the celebrities that you met and some of the situations that you were in, and tell us, how does it work? You go backstage, and then what?
Well, it's not necessarily go backstage. You have to look at the hotel or the band tour itinerary, because if they're in town the night before, then they're going to be at the hotel. You go and find the hotel where the band buses are. You go to the hotel bar, and still to this day, it's the same ritual. Hotel bar, they're there between like 7 and 8. They go to dinner, come back around 9 or 10. They're till about midnight. So yeah, you go to the hotel bar, you meet the band, you meet the crew, you meet whoever, you get on the guest list, you go to the show.
How does one find out what hotel? I mean, like, this is just so new to me. How does one find out what hotel these incredibly famous people stay in?
There's a lot of tour buses that either the band or the road crew is going to be in. So you find the tour buses, or you just go out to general aviation, where if they're on a private plane, and you wait for them to land, and you either meet them there, or you already know them when you're meeting them there, and you just follow them back to the hotel.
And I'm going to bring up some photographs because I know Chicken Snake. I want you to share some of your story.
When there's a
The echo's
will,
back.
there's a way. These people know how to find us rock stars when we're out on tour.
Well, they call us too, so it's not like we're out there stalking them. It's like we just know the ritual. We know where they are, and then you get relationships. They're like, "Hey, we're going to be in town, or do you want to come out and see us in New York or wherever?"
So, Chicken Snake, I know that you two, and that echoes back really bad again, Chicken Snake. Um, Tell us about some of your experiences with Alison, because I know that you two have known each other for a really, really long time. I know that you two have. I'm trying to bring up some photographs. Um, how did you meet Alison, and how did you two become friends?
It all involved squirt guns.
Squirt guns.
Yeah, we had an epic squirt gun battle with her and her girlfriends, and they like to think that they won, but we won.
Oh, quit your lying! We beat you in 6-inch heels and mini skirts.
Well,
Can
there
you?
were white tops, and when the white tops got wet, we got to see what we wanted, and we won.
And I had a white mini skirt on.
I feel bad because there's an echo. I don't hear it, so I'm sorry for the echo.
It's okay. I mean, you're in the car, so let me see if I can turn your noise cancellation down. So,
I
can you hang on? Can you explain? Hang on. Can you explain, Chicken Snake, um, like what you were doing and how you met Alison? Because just so people understand how you two
That was
met.
like 30 some odd years ago. I don't know exactly what we were doing, but there was probably an in store, so the band was probably at the in store. Uh, and then the crew was at the club, so we probably met them first because we usually meet some of the people first because we're still at the club setting up gear and horsing around or whatever. But I don't know exactly the way
I
we
do.
met.
We went straight to the club. They were playing a little punk club here called Speedway Cafe.
Hmm.
And we didn't know what was going on because we didn't have any internet back then to find the tour itinerary really easy. So we're like, oh, someone's playing at the Speedway. We went down. Here were these guys in their RV little bus, you know.
I see. I mean, I'm going to bring up some. Sorry, I had to mute Chicken Snake because that echo is really, really
That's
bad.
okay.
So I'm going to bring up some pictures that you've kindly sent to me. Let's have a look. And if you could talk to us about these, because there's a fantastic one. Tell me about this one here. Because
The upside down tour bus trick. That was actually taken on Tim McGraw's tour bus, but it was invented with the recently passed away John Sykes he was in Thin Lizzy and Blue Murder, couple bands, just a English golden god, just fine as ever, right? So they were opening up. Blue Murder was opening up for Billy Squire, and we decided to go see him at the local fairgrounds here in Salt Lake City, my friends and I. And here comes John with a guitar, just looking like a romance novel cover in his white billowy shirt, following me around. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna fall for that, you know. And we went on the bus. We were all hanging out. My friend Danny was with Carmine Appice, their drummer. And John's like, hey, let's go in the back lounge. And we couldn't find a really comfortable position to do a certain couple things at the same time. So that happened.
so how did you get on top of the tour bus and then just throw
No,
yourself out?
it's just there used to be escape hatches. So I just popped it open. He's like, I bet you can't hang upside down from there. We could, kind of do a couple things at the same time. I was like, oh, I'll take that bet. Just jumped up, pulled myself, put my legs through. And it was funny because all the guys were standing outside the tour bus, and all of a sudden they just see hands and legs coming out of the top of the tour bus.
And no one was harmed. No one was harmed in the making of that, right?
Not on that one. Okay.
I mean, that's just amazing because you look like you're having so much fun.
I was blessed.
Right. So what about this one here? Hang on, let's go back. This is you, obviously. This is you, which you look beautiful. This is you in the 80s?
Yeah, that was about 1986 or 7. That's Kristen. She was part of what we were called the Salt Lake City Welcoming Committee, or the Salt Lake City Sisters. So that was Kristen, and that's me. We were doing a photo shoot for Photography Magazine on different types of clicks, and we were the rock chicks for that photo shoot with a local photographer called Rick Black. And I worked with him a lot in a lot of his photo shoots, and that was one of them.
Do you think that, because this was back in the 80s and 90s, do you think that nowadays it's the same kind of thing, like with groupies? Is it still the same, or has it changed?
Oh, it's totally changed. And I think a lot of that has to do with number one, corporate, the music business corporate side really kind of taking more control. Definitely the COVID era, kind of, because you had to live in your own bubble once everybody started back on the road. And it really has. And it's really sad because there's a lot less laughter out on the road. Groupies, it's not about the sex, drugs, rock and roll type of stuff. It's about companionship and camaraderie. And, the number one thing a groupie hears is go take care of your man. So, it's a whole different ballgame. And I think that's really missing it, because I see the guys out there and it's just a bunch of guys out to dinner having a couple beers. They're in bed by 10 and they're just like sluggish. And it's like, ladies, come on, we need more groupies at the hotel bar.
So do you think that back then the groupies, you say it wasn't about the sex, drugs, rock and roll. We're past the first half an hour, so we're open to say anything we want, right? So, you say it was about the laughter. I mean, obviously, me coming from England where groupies aren't such a big thing, I'd heard that it was about sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Well, we were definitely part of that. It was whatever the night opened. And, half the time we might have woken up in the hotel next to somebody. Half the time we went home alone. So it was really just about kind of being with our tribe. I think Frankie Valli put it, if you ever see the musical Jersey Boys, Frankie Valli put it perfectly. He's like, you have two lives that are very parallel. You have your family at home and you have your family on the road. And yeah, the groupies are the sex part of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and that can happen, but it doesn't always have to happen.
I mean, that makes sense. It's a family. You all get to know each other. I guess you become this family. Let's see you at the next event.
Yep.
Was it like his chicken steak? If he's got an echo again, I'm going to kill him. Chicken steak?
Is there an echo?
Yeah. Yeah, there is, darling.
All right.
So this is just a shame because I know that he wanted to share all these stories. So in the 80s, my father looked like Mungo Jerry with afro.
Hey, if he was a good musician, I would have done him.
You would have done him.
I would have, absolutely.
So tell us about what we've got here. Who's this handsome young man here?
So these are the guys in White Lion, and there's actually a picture missing to the guy in the band I was actually with, the bass player James Lomenzo. So that's Vito Bratta, the guitar player, and the lead singer Mike. And we had been hanging out the night before, just relaxing. This is after the show. They were getting ready to head to Denver. And I rarely took pictures, but a friend was like, here, take some pictures with them. And Vito thought it'd be funny to pull up my dress. I'm like, oh, whatever. I was wearing underwear at least that day.
At least. I've got a Rampage video in the back. I don't know who that is. Do you know a Rampage video, Alison?
A Rampage video? No.
No, it's not an open panel yet, Rampage. We're doing, after the interview, I'm going to open up the panel to ask Alison questions. You're more than welcome to hang around until, yeah, guys, everybody wants to come up on panel and they want to interrogate you about everything that's going on.
Go right ahead.
And Draven as well. I'm not opening up the panel just yet. Let me finish the interview and then I promise you lot are more than welcome to come up and ask Alison anything you want. If that's all right with Alison, of course.
Oh, of course.
So let's have a look at some more pics. Oh, nope.
What's that?
I think that's it, wasn't it, Alison, that you sent me?
Yeah, I didn't send you too many because we never took a ton of pictures. Like, I have actually one of the pictures of when Sean and I met with the band. He was with Dark Angel, some with Chuck Billy, but we never, taking pictures was not like on our minds when we were hanging out with the guys, We had a camera in our purse, but we were too busy enjoying the company.
No, I get that. I'm like that now, even though we've got mobile phones,
Yeah.
I rarely take pictures. I'm more of like I'd rather just, everyone's like that nowadays, aren't they? Whereas I'm more.
Yeah.
So I've got some questions from that people wanted me to ask you. Um, and actually, before I go into them, there was a moment in your book. Can you tell us about when you were stuck in an elevator with Bon Jovi?
Oh, that was Motley Crue. And it was, oh gosh, it was so, we had gone up because they were not in town the night before. So Kristen and I decided we were going to go up there by 9 a.m. and wake those guys up at the tour buses, banging on the door. Yeah, we did. They were mad that they saw the girls and they were like, hey. And we ran into their tour manager. He's like, oh yeah, come over to the hotel. So we go to the hotel. He's got whatever he's got out on all the tables, chopped out, poured, whatever, right? Smoking, going on. And we just started drinking at probably 11 a.m. He called the three guys. He was like, hey, I got some ladies. Here comes Nikki, Tommy, and it's just like we're just gone in 12 different directions. Had to get to sound check. The elevator decides to get stuck between the first and the second floor while we are all wasted. So I pick up the phone, call the only number I know, which is room service. I'm like, hello. I'm like, I can get some Jack Daniels and Coke. They're like, where are you? And I'm like, we're in the elevator between the first and second floor. And we're all getting a little claustrophobic. Kristen's being called by Tommy and everybody. And about 30 minutes later, here come these guys prying the door open. And they look down. They're like, oh, it's just Motley Crue and their groupies. We'll leave them here. And they let the door slam. We were like,
no way! I mean, Bon Jovi, I mean, he's huge, right?
Motley Crue. But they were still huge at the time. And it was like, what? And then we were out 10 minutes later and just ran across that. That was the last time I drank that heavily in a show at all.
Oh my God, hang on.
Work on those elevators.
So, I mean, that's insane. They just left you there and you did in your ordered room service, did it get there?
Yeah, they had it waiting for us as we came out the elevator. We just grabbed the glasses and got in the hotel van and went to, sound check around the corner.
So the first question that I was asked, and we kind of covered this, but I want to make sure that the people that wanted to ask questions, in Rampage video, I got you in the back. I can see you, but I will bring you up shortly. How did you get into becoming a groupie? I mean, we said though at the beginning, you saw the first concert, you got hooked, and you were like, that's it. I'm all in.
It just, and it wasn't just so much that I just found my tribe, it's like, it was just kind of a path that was put in front of me. Like I said, when I met Van Halen at the hotel, it was just like something about them and watching them as the road crew at the band and the camaraderie and the laughter and just the pure debauchery that we'd get up to. It made sense. And it was just like that first time I went backstage, I knew I didn't want to stand out in the crowd, being groped, pushed around, mosh pitted. I wouldn't be on the side of the stage with my drink. Thank you very much.
Did you ever throw yourself off stage like they do? Like I don't know what it's called.
It was the 80s. We did this a lot.
That's called stage dive.
Yeah. Did you do that, Alison? Did you stage dive?
No, I used to get in the mosh pit. You should never, ever, ever trust women in the mosh pit with miniskirts and heels. Those heels are weapons, people.
I'm not scared.
You should be. We're gonna have another water gun fight.
I'm not scared.
Whatever.
What does collapsed septum mean?
Oh, is it because I have severe allergies and I just got over.
Oh, right. Okay.
So COVID pretty bad. So.
So are there groupie rules or codes?
There's some unwritten codes. You don't go after your friends, lovers. You don't get too drunk. Don't talk about the music because you don't want, they talk about their job enough. Get to know them as human beings off the stage. Don't date the rock star they are on the stage because there's so much more to them than that. There's a lot in the song. I have little side notes, how to be a groupie 101, how to flirt with rock stars. So yeah, there's definitely rules, but I broke a lot of them.
I mean, I can imagine not talking about their music is really important because that's all they ever do, right? All they talk about. So I can see why you'd want to speak to the individual and get to know them.
Yeah.
So did older groupies give you any words of advice when you started?
No, they hated us. They didn't like the Yeah, they did because it's like all of a sudden here come. We didn't know them. We didn't know who they were. We just were like, ooh, rock stars. Let's go get them. And we were accidentally taking over the guys that they had a couple years relationship with before. So, Yeah, and it was a very, very competitive scene in the 80s, not just in Salt Lake, in New York, in Los Angeles, wherever, you know. Being a groupie was a very competitive scene everywhere.
I can imagine. I can imagine that the women that were there before you, would they get bitchy and catfight?
They would try to talk crap about us and, you know, oh, there's, you know, just degrading. And we never talked really about them. We'd just be like, oh, whatever. Because there was always somebody coming on the bus. Oh, those girls are talking about you. We're like, oh, okay, they're still on we're on the tour bus. They're on the sidewalk. So it doesn't matter, does it?
Was there ever a time where you encountered somebody that decided to pull your hair or do like all the? No, that's
No,
good.
and if they tried, yeah, actually, there was a small punk band that was playing the Speedway where we met Sean and his guys, and there were these two kind of skinhead girls that were. We had gone over to their house for after the show for a little punk rock house party, and all of a sudden the band's like shoving us into their van. They just grabbed me and my friend Danny and just like tackled us, put us in the van, locked the doors, had their tour manager and stuff because those girls were planning to use knives on me and Danny.
Damn.
And we don't know why. It's like we thought they were nice people, but yeah, they just didn't like us being around.
Competitive is not is a nice way of putting what you because that's frightening.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on.
Well, it's a good thing that the group shoved you into the vehicle because otherwise,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Were
So
they skinhead girls, Allison? Did you say?
Skinhead.
Oh yeah, they're dangerous.
they're dangerous.
Same here, no hair here.
Yeah.
I've never encountered a skinhead.
Salt
But
Lake at the time had a small issue, a couple different genres like that. So
Usually, not all skinheads are bad, but skinheads are known for really bad racism and stuff. But not all of them are racist, but
no,
a
not
lot
all of
were.
them, but we
A
just
lot were.
wow. Was there an artist or band that you really wanted to meet and ultimately did? I love these questions. I gotta thank
all of
Megan.
them.
All of them. Just give them
We
all. Give
spent a
them
lot
all
of
to
years
me.
around Metallica, spent 8 years dating Vinnie Paul and Pantera. That was a surprise, really. Spent 13 years around John. And everybody that we set out that we wanted to meet, we met. Salt Lake City was, like I said, it was a real big hub. Bands would take 2 or 3 days off here. And a schedule back in the 80s when you were touring for 2 years and you had 5 gigs a week and you might have 1 or 2 days off, depending. So they would book days off here so they would hang out and it was just like free for all. Like I said, it was our candy store. We took our fake IDs, went to the hotel bar, got the band.
So,
Everyone.
because I know that you were dating these huge stars.
Uh,
How was that? Like, how was that? Because there must have been other women that would have like thrown themselves at these
yeah,
people who wanted to be groupies too. How did you deal with that?
you let it happen because it's how the person you're with, whether it's the groupie or the rock star, it's how they react. To that situation. If they have respect for you, cool beans, you're good. You're with that person when you're in their presence, you are with that person.
Sorry, I've got in the back because that gentleman's still in the back. It's Dawson. It's me.
Hey, Allison.
ASMR. One quick question, please.
Well,
Okay, I'll bring you up before I do this. But do you mind, Alison, this gentleman?
I
Allison,
don't know.
real quick. When you I just asking this question for so other people could understand. So when you say you dated these certain people for however long, that was when they were in your presence, not like exclusively you were their girlfriend or they were your
Oh,
boyfriend.
no.
It was when you were with them, you were dating them. But when
Yeah,
they
but
were
you have relationships like I said with Vinnie Paul from Pantera, we had an 8 year thing,
yeah,
but it wasn't like every second of every day. We saw each other on and off the road. He'd come to Vegas, I'd go to Dallas, I'd meet
yeah,
him in
yeah.
Europe, whatever. But it was always kind of that unspoken thing, especially with the English boys. They kind of knew you had other lovers. You just don't talk about them when you're together. You don't drop, you're just in that moment with that person.
And just very quickly, Ozzy wanted to know: did any artist disappoint you when you first met them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. John Christ of Danzig, that was really disappointing.
Do you want to tell us why?
It was like watching paint dry. I was just like, get off me.
What about Brett?
Oh God, yeah, he didn't even make it past second base. I was like, tap, tap, tap. Excuse me, sir. We don't need to go any further. And the lead singer of Korn, and then I went and found his guitar player and switched him out.
Rampage video, hello. I brought you up because I know you said you had a question for our wonderful Alison. Go ahead, because I've got more questions, but go ahead.
Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I'm Dawson from Toronto. My question was, are there groupies nowadays?
There are, but they're so few and far between. And I think the girls who want to become groupies are a little bit more hesitant because they don't really know kind of how to go about it, because it was, after the 80s and the Salt Lake City scene, it just kind of dried out as groupies because grunge came along, said they weren't into groupies, but obviously they were. But yeah, there are still groupies. They're just fewer and far between, and it's just not kind of the same vibe it used to be.
Hmm. Well, if there's any more groupies, I'm available.
Ladies,
I'm gonna be a rock
like I
star
was
one
telling
day.
Mel, we need to make rock and roll laugh again.
Well, I know a lot of the tours now are sponsored by bigger entities, so a lot of less debauchery is going on in backstage areas. It's kind of weird. I've been backstage a few times with some bigger bands, and it's nothing that I remember back when I was touring with the bands that I was touring with. It was all like kumbaya stuff, like around a campfire. It wasn't like, where's all the titties and the fucking alcohol, the alcohol, the everything else. It was like freaking Disneyland versus a strip club.
Well, like I said, it used to be in the 80s, you'd see a bunch of girls dotted through the crowd on shoulders, and you could see this in every 80s video. A lot of them filmed in Salt Lake City. Girls just woohoo, doing hedonism. And it's like, we need that kind of laughter and freedom about ourselves again. It's not just about rock and roll. I think we need to kind of embrace it's okay to be hedonism. If between consenting human beings, it's okay.
Do you think that the derailment, let's say, of groupies is to do a lot with maybe lawsuits and, in today's day and age, do you think that that's why people are more cautious about what happens on the backstage, as in the artist management?
I think there's several reasons. Like when grunge happened, they started saying publicly, "Oh, it's degrading for groupie to be groupies," even though, like I said, they were enjoying that lifestyle very much behind the scenes. But then you got into, a little bit of lawsuits here. Then you kind of got into the whole, started with the R. Kelly and the P. Diddy and stuff like that. So I think it just sort of started dying with grunge and kind of dried out from there.
Well, no, because it's funny you should mention Diddy. I have got a live. Hang on, chicken snake. That echo's terrible. It's funny because obviously I've got another live coming up about P. Diddy. Do you think that after the big rock movement of the 80s and 90s, because obviously even I know those bands, even though I wasn't into rock, who doesn't? They're worldwide famous. Do you think that the whole scene became very, very different? Rather than having fun and all the things that we explained, it turned more, what's the word I'm looking for? Grimy, slimy?
Well, I think there was always a lot of grime and slime there that we just didn't see because, fortunately, like I said, I was in a very protected bubble with these guys. But I think that, the grime and slime is just coming forward because a lot of people are comfortable to come out and say what happened. They're not afraid of these artists as their bosses or their tyrants or, repercussions professionally, stuff like that. I think people are just getting comfortable saying this is what happened to me, whether it was 20 years ago or 2 hours ago. And like I said, I think a lot of us just kind of grew up and kind of grew out of it. Even though we still hang out, we still have drinks, dinner the night before. It's not like we're doing rails off the balcony anymore.
Because obviously, we've heard about the parties nowadays sound very different to the parties then. It would be nice if we could go back to that purity that we had back in the 80s and 90s when things weren't so gross, right? Because we've heard what happens now.
Well, I think also with the movie, I hate this movie too, Almost Famous, absolutely cannot stand it, right? because it's such a fairy tale, you know, it's not life on the road at all. And I think that kind of darkened it because a lot of girls saw that movie and was like, I'm gonna buy myself a fur lined coat, call myself Penny Lane or Dolly Rocker, you know, stuff like that. It's like they could have made it like you see those kind of girls. There's a couple girls that are twins that were on some Secret Life of the Groupie show a long time ago. They're like, we have a picture on the Who's tour bus. And it's like, okay, first of all, that's like the Who hasn't had a tour bus. The band hasn't had a tour bus since 1970, right? So I think it's become more of a braggart situation, what we call starfuckers, rather than, like I said, the family. We were just following our tribe.
Right, right. And it's such a shame that that's lost because it does sound like you lot were safe, most importantly,
Yeah.
and that you had so much fun. Whereas
Is the echo still going on? Because I did some with some earplugs. Is it better?
a massive,
That's
huge
better.
thank you, much better. Native Atheist for the $5 super chat. Has she ever followed Gigi Allen?
Oh
No,
shit!
I never did meet Gigi Allen, but I did interview a good friend of mine, Diana. She was Texas, LA groupie, married a couple of smaller musicians, but she used to hang out with Gigi Allen. Said he was one of the nicest, most polite people she'd ever met. And he crossed out on the couch a couple of times.
And publicly he wasn't that nice.
Yeah,
He wasn't.
on
No, he
stage,
wasn't. No,
no. He was like the gross
Gigi.
of the gross, the filth of the filth, whatever could shock you, forget Iggy Pop. This guy was way beyond that.
Way. I mean, you would be in the crowd and he would be playing in his underwear. He'd probably shit his pants a couple times. He would punch you. Yeah, it's
Throw it.
crazy.
He would punch you?
Oh fuck yeah!
Or for no reason? You just get a punch in the face?
There, Gigi Allen is. Although it would have been fun to see him, I would have stayed way in the back. But it was
I
gnarly.
would
The
stayed well
stories.
in the back.
It was
Yeah,
gnarly. Some of the stuff that he supposedly did. Uh, it's urban legend that he would like have his way with people on stage, which I don't know if that's believable or
oh,
not, but
Diana said
it's
that was true.
horrible. What's that?
Diana said that was true. Because, I
Okay,
mean, there
okay.
are some bands that just groupies won't do, like Rush. And, I mean, we turned down Foreigner. You
I
know,
know.
Gigi Allen would be one of them. We even hung out with Gore, but we wouldn't hang out with Gigi Allen.
I see. And Catherine, I think Catherine's one of your friends because she said hello before.
Like,
I've been to
Catherine,
hundreds
yes,
of
she is.
concerts. I've been to hundreds of concerts since 1983 to present. I could always pick up the chicks out of the crowd who was going backstage. I don't care what any woman says they wish they were Alison. How? How can you tell?
Yes,
How
yes.
can you tell?
You just
It's
got a vibe.
yeah, it's a vibe. It's sometimes the way they dress. It's just like you could just see these girls. It's like, you know, when you're at a party and you just see these people walk in that are just so comfortable in their own skin that you're just like, you catch that cool vibe from them. It's that.
And it's not always a sexual thing, too. It's just you got a
Nope.
good vibe. It's just you got a good vibe. You know, cool chicks. I met my wife like 5 days after I met Allison, and it was the same kind of vibe, you know,
Yep.
really. And I squirt her with the squirt gun, too.
Is
We
that like a
beat you.
standard thing?
You can delusion yourself all you want that you were the winners, but
So it's a vibe. It's
yeah.
So JH would like to know what band was Chicken Snake in?
I was not in a band. I was part of the road crew for a band called Dark Angel.
Yeah.
They're an awesome thrash band.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, like I said, I've never been into rock. I'm just trying to understand it.
Well, was it just rock though? I mean, that's the thing about my generation. We had rap, we had rock. Neil Diamond, for crying out loud. You know, we
Neil
proved every
Diamond.
genre, country.
No, rock
Sorry,
and roll is like,
I was
the
just
first
thanking
time you
Lady
hear
Luck.
Highway to Hell.
So
What
that
about
again,
Highway to Hell?
you're a bit crackly.
The first time you hear Satisfaction or the first time you hear Highway to Hell, you just feel that's, music takes over, your body starts moving. The whole Jailhouse Rock, Elvis Presley, it's just that,
Yeah,
you get that electricity
you
feeling.
hear that G chord of rock and roll, that little devil chord, you're like, oh yeah, here we go. but
You feel it
it
in the
does
bone.
carry over.
Yeah,
I'd just like to
that's rock and
give a
roll.
massive thank to Lady Luck, who helped me out a lot tonight, for the $20 super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Raymanda would like to know what band has the best roadies?
Well, there's Dark Angel, but they only had 2 roadies. Uh, there's a lot of bands because a lot of the roadies, like my friend Oris, he's someone I've known since 1989. He's worked from Ministry to Taylor Swift to he's out with Bush all the time to Nickelback to Megadeth to he's Motley Crue. He has worked with everybody. So it's like there's a whole group of old school roadies that are just awesome people that go on tour with everybody. Roadies are the best people to know because they always work with different bands and will put you on the guest list.
Sounds, oh God, it just sounds amazing. So I'm going to go on with the questions because I've got
And hi,
two pages of
Roberta.
questions.
How you doing, girl? She's there for my channel.
Hey, Amanda, lovely to meet you, darling. So, okay, how far have you traveled to meet an artist or band?
Oh, they flown me all over the world.
All over the
All,
world.
all over the world. I've toured. I mean, I ditched Def Leppard in New York City, and my friend and I still stayed there for 3 weeks, and they still paid for our hotel, even though I was sleeping with guys from Duran Duran and Ricky Rockman.
You slept with someone from Duran Duran?
John Taylor. He was like 12 years old, Duran Duran. I was like, and when I saw him at the Club USA, I was like, I'm not going back to the hotel at Def Leppard today. Nope. I know what hotel I'm going back to.
She left him on the curb. I love it.
Wow.
And he still paid for our hotel suite for the next 3 weeks.
Hey, and also, you've heard about the street, with the Party Kids of New York, right? And they made a movie out of it. What was the name of that movie?
Yeah, the Club Kids, Party Monster, Michael Alec.
That was a real thing.
They murdered their drug dealer Angel. We were hanging out with those guys. I bought weed from Angel. It was like the Limelight, Club USA,
RuPaul.
Rocketeer.
RuPaul. I was just going to ask.
Yeah, RuPaul was one of them. Richie
I love
Rich,
RuPaul.
Richie Rich, who is now a designer at Heatherette. Yeah, Misunderstood, who recently passed away. And Michael passed away a few years ago after getting out of jail.
So, Alison, were you part of that scene? I've forgotten the name of that huge club in New York.
The Limelight.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, the Club Kids. They were at the Limelight, Club USA, Danceteria, Rocketeria, Roxy, everywhere. And the Limelight was their main place. And yeah, I went to the Limelight every time I was in New York.
And I heard some stories about that club, about some going-ons. Are they that happened in the club? Were they true stories?
I can tell you my stories were true. You had wild times. Nobody was stopping you from doing anything. A friend of mine was having sex with 2 guys out on the main dance floor. I was in the bathroom. I was in the bathroom with Ricky Rockman. I was going down a Club USA with this 3-story long slide with RuPaul, tossing our little potato sacks behind us and on the dance floor.
Wow. I mean, obviously, I've heard about those days. I've heard RuPaul talking about those days, and I can't believe that you were right there with him.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, do you know how big this is? This is huge.
Yeah,
I tell you, I've been telling you about Alison for a couple months prior to this getting this done. I knew this would be a fun interview. It's not drama, like, Alison's the shit. She can tell you stories.
Hey, Classic Grunge.
Wait, the club was. Wait, is the club with the porn? Was it the club with the porn booth?
Yeah, with the porn booth. That was Club USA because they had all these different floors. And on one floor, it was like kind of a fun house, and you had the 25-cent porno booth where you put a quarter in, and me and RuPaul and Michael Alec and a bunch of us were just watching the porn. And I mean, that was New York City at that time was pretty dang crazy magical. And that's when I met John Taylor of Duran Duran was at Club USA. We were taken immediately up to the VIP room, and there they were. And I was like, oh, score, score, score.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Alison wasn't strictly rock and roll. Like she even said, she's had some country guys, some rappers, and some movie stars and stuff like that. She's
Oh,
she's
what
had
movie
quite a fun life.
stars? What movie stars? Tell
All
us about the
right, I'm
movie
gonna name
stars.
a name that I haven't named here because when I first moved to Las Vegas, there was one of the first of a whole series of films called Ocean's 11 being filmed.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I love me some George Clooney.
Uh-oh.
You had some George Clooney.
I had some George Clooney.
You had some George
I didn't
Clooney.
even know that.
I've never
Oh,
said that out loud.
yeah. Oh, wow. And oh, I'm speechless.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I
oh,
was one of
wow.
the famous, like Jack Nicholson was a regular at my strip club. Sylvester Stallone. Yeah,
I love Sylvester
Prince what's his name?
Stallone.
Monaco, the Prince of Monaco, who I didn't even believe he was the prince because he had the New York accent. You know?
Yeah, Alex said it's the real MVP. Absolutely. I love me
Oh,
some,
thank
like,
you.
one of my favorites. Like, I just love Sylvester Stallone. I'm very envious.
He
that-
was so nice because I first met him in Seattle and I danced for Drew Barrymore and her boyfriend at the time from Hull, Eric Erlanderson, when I was living in Seattle because I lived in Seattle during the grunge years. And Sean and I didn't even know we were in Seattle at the same time, but yeah, so yeah, I met Sylvester. He was up there filming Judge Dredd or something, I
Probably
believe.
one of his worst movies ever, but I still love
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
but one of the nicest guys. Always spent a lot of money, never asked for anything because, I never crossed any lines as a stripper. That was just not my thing.
And so you're in the middle of all these celebrities, right? People are paying for your hotel rooms. You're kind of like skipping from hotel room to hotel room. Was there ever a point where you thought enough's enough? Or were you like, no, I'm just gonna do it till I can?
I'm in it for life. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's like, in a way, it's like you always had your home to go to. You can always kind of decompress from it if you needed a break. I also dated a Saudi prince, so I went over to the Middle East, to Bahrain, to Dubai before it was real trendy to go to Dubai, before the Palms was even built. So yeah, it's like you kind of take a break and you run around with different people. Yeah. So
So the prince took you to Dubai.
yeah. Well, we were in Bahrain first, where he had a house, and then we went to Dubai. Then I met another one of his friends in Sharjah in Abu Dhabi, who I ended up dating after Salah and I broke up.
That's incredible. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, like I said, I knew your life was colorful because obviously Lady Lux helped me with research. I've had a look into some things, but wow, did you at any point ever think, oh, am I safe in Dubai? Because obviously it's
Oh yeah, I felt totally safe there because I was a guest of the crown. I was a guest of the crown prince of Bahrain. So I have and I was with my ex who was a prince. So I had a diplomatic safety. I had a blanket over me. The only place I ever, and I didn't think I had to be scared there, is when I went to dance with when I first moved to Vegas, I went to Japan and my friend and I had to escape the Yakuza.
Tell us a bit more about that. That sounds terrifying.
Well, we didn't even realize it. They were like, it was kind of a long story. We get there, we're supposed to be in Tokyo, but then we end up in Kimitsu City, this small town by Chiba and stuff. And we had this house, and they're like, you cannot go in these rooms. And these guys would come over in the rooms, and you hear screaming, and you're just upstairs in your little room going, no, thank you. And then we realized who they were. So we started calling, and it was so funny because I just met Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols. And so we would have to walk 5 miles to the nearest international phone. And we finally got a hold of my grandfather, who called the embassy because my grandfather has a lot of political ties. But yeah, he called the U.S. Embassy, so they had cars to come get us. Her dad got us, our tickets out. And I remember when we finally made a phone call, and I looked down at the pavement, and I said, "Sex Pistols rule." I'm like, yeah, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds terrifying. It really does. I mean, to be put in a position like that. How old are you when that happened? Were you still quite young?
Oh, no, I started dancing when I was 20. So that was Vegas. I was about 24, 25 when that happened.
So JH would like to know, did you work at Rick's or at the View
I
Alive?
did do feature shows at Rick's in Texas. I worked at Little D's. I was original girl at the very first Deja Vu. Well, I started working for Deja Vu in Seattle, but then because I was working for the American Push before that and doing the Miss World Topless, doing a lot of features, magazines. And then I started with Deja Vu, went down to Vegas to open up their club, their Little Darlings, and worked for them at Showgirls as well, and did feature shows at every Deja Vu, Rick's, Platinum, Pure Platinum, the Dollhouses, Stringfellows. Yeah.
Yeah, so you were modeling and dancing, right?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of, Penthouse Hustler, Wee, Cherry, Jet, stuff like that.
Nice.
And I've never been to Deja Vu in Seattle whatsoever. I promise. It wasn't me.
You went to the one on First and Pike or Razzmatazz? That's also by Deja Vu, Sean.
I don't know anything about no razzmatazz.
So, Sienna would like to know: have you ever encountered a rock star that was faithful to their wife?
Warren DeMartini from Rat.
There you go, guys. There you go. And did you know Pole Work?
Did I know who?
Pole Work. It's on screen. Classic Grunge asked.
No. Oh no, I didn't know Paul Work. I don't believe.
Okay, so I don't know who Pole Work is. Is he? He's. I don't know who that is.
Hey, I had a problem with my phone a few minutes ago. Hey, Allison, you mentioned some about Drew Barrymore and Eric. Were you at the show where they play with Green Day?
No, I wasn't. Like I said, the only time I met them is when they were at my strip club, and they just sort of wandered in. And here comes Drew Barrymore getting all handsy. I'm like, no, girl.
Oh, I love Drew Barrymore, and my wife stopped me. We were at a show. Hall was playing, and Drew Barrymore was 5 feet, not even 5 feet in front of me, and I wanted to go say hi. My wife's like, "Don't bother her, don't bother," because I can go up and talk to anybody. She was okay when I went up and talked to Kurt Cobain, but when I wanted to talk to Drew Barrymore, she's like, "No, leave her alone."
Yeah, no, but Drew was very approachable at the time. I don't like who she is now, but at the time she was pretty cool.
Yeah, Drew seemed. I loved her back then. She was awesome. I know they were filming a movie here, and I can't even think of This Love or something like that.
Yeah, it was because it was. So what year was that? It was about 94, 95?
Yes.
Yeah.
Classic Grunge said it's not a band. I'm asking about when you were working as a dancer.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
Kate, do I know pole work? Is that what she meant? Pole work?
That's what you meant. Sorry, I was so confused.
Our generation invented those things. I could do a foot cable. I could do the pole work. I could do the trapeze. Yeah, I could do it all. I could spit fire.
Listen, the girls are amazing. I used to run a dancing club, and the stuff that they did on the poles. I mean, people don't realize the upper strength that you need to do some of the stuff that I mean, my experience was I ran up, I jumped up, I hit my fanny bone, and then I saw Tweety Pie all around my head.
Oh,
that was the only experience I had on the pole.
Allison, weren't you in Miss Topless USA or something like that on pay-per-view?
Yeah, every year there was the Miss World Topless Entertainer of the Year. We would come like the Enter the Night show at the Stardust at the time. We were on pay-per-view. And then when I went to work with Deja Vu, I would do their CES and Comdex, the adult side. I would do all their magazines. I did a lot of features for them. I even did the Moulin Rouge.
Nice. Will's like
which club was it in London? Which club did you run?
Oh no, it wasn't in London. It was up north.
Okay.
And it's called Purple Door. And I absolutely loved it. I mean, I was the manager. I wasn't a dancer, just so I couldn't.
But it's still like a little family at the strip club.
She said she wasn't a dancer, but we all think.
No, come on, Chicken Snake. I only ever gave one person a dance because he paid over the odds because he wanted the manager. So, Wills would like to know, what did your family think of your lifestyle?
Well, my dad was several states away because my parents had got a divorce after 25 years of marriage, so nothing he could do about it. And my mom, she was an amazing woman, a top educator in the United States, master's degree, just a very, very amazing woman. And I come from a good family, but Mom was like, well, I can't stop her, so I'm just going to be there for her. She talked to more rock stars than Eddie Trunk.
How did
Yeah,
she
she
feel
did.
That's
about it?
funny.
She
That's
bitched
funny.
out more rock stars. Don't you call her after 10 p.m. She did that to James Hetfield, Mike Clark from Suicidal Tendencies. And then she told Mike that I was out with another band. I'm like, Mom,
Mom threw her under the bus.
what?
Under the tour. I said, Mom threw you under the tour bus.
She so did.
No pun
Did
intended.
you ever meet? Did you
No,
Well,
ever
I
meet
mean,
Michelle,
Notorious?
Mom would have preferred other things. And my dad, of course, was, he'd be like, you need to stop doing all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I take after you. Stop me. You know?
yeah, my dad probably would have tied me up to in the basement somewhere. That's my, because he's quite a protected dad. So it's a good thing that they just let you be you.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. So Michelle would
And
like
what?
to know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, sweetheart. Go ahead.
I can say one thing about Allison though, and she says this in her book. Her book is amazing. People buy the book, listen
Hmm.
to the book, do whatever. But she kind of like made her rules. It wasn't the boys' rules because when we were on tour, we had some people that were kind of, I guess, not as nice to the girls. Allison wouldn't have put up with that shit. She takes control of the situation and she's in charge, not anybody
Yep.
else.
Yeah, but that was the 80s ladies as groupies in general. Like I said, we flipped it on the head for the 70s and 60s who were pretty much trinkets on the arms. They were still being free spirited. But by the time we hit the 80s, we were the daughters of the women who could get their own apartments for the first time, their own credit cards for the first time, have their own lives for the first time. So we were the product of women being fully free for the first time. And we were like, no, this is our candy store. You guys are just the gumballs.
Classic grunge said, "That's some real feminism right there." Woo. So Michelle would like to know: are you settled now? I noticed you're wearing a wedding ring.
Yeah, I'm settled, but that's kind of, I leave a lot of things out of the book, and
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, your focus was on you being a
yeah.
groupie, right? Um, so how what advice would you give young people who aspire to become a groupie? Bearing in mind we said that groupies aren't quite the same now.
Uh, just be yourself and don't try to impress anybody. Don't compromise yourself for anybody else. Stick true to yourself. Don't cross your own morals or values, and just be part of the family. Don't be the person talking about the music and, oh my God, how much it means to, what I mean? Just let conversation flow, be yourself, have your own self confidence. And if you don't like something, walk away.
But
Exactly.
may,
Just be
but may I
yourself.
ask, Alison, there must have been expectations, physical expectations, right?
Not always.
No,
Not always.
no.
Like I said, when you're out on the road, and somebody had put it one time, they had put some on one of my Facebook pages. He's like, just Allie's one cool chick, and just having these friends in the port in the storm, when you saw so many faces that you had a familiar one along the way, that meant everything, and that wasn't necessarily about the sex. But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I had a high sex drive. I was like, I want you as my lover. I'm going to take you. I'm going to take you, and you get in the back. I might take you later. You know,
And what about I call them party favors, which is recreational party favors. Was there a lot of that going on? Obviously, it's rock and roll, right?
well, yeah. I mean, I tried to know stuff a couple times. Wasn't my thing. I just never got into anything but smoking weed and having a few drinks.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
think
we all
that's
love
what a
that.
lot of us really did. But then, I was with people like Dave Gahan when he was in his heroin years.
Oh
And
wow.
I hated that. Or, like I said, when John passed away, he did one line. He knew I hated it. I was the reason I made Glenn Tipton quit a few months later.
Wow. I mean, that must have been like, especially with the H. That's quite
Yeah.
that's I don't know if I could have handled being in a
So
situation where there was users like that. What did you do in those situations? Like try and get them to stop, walk out? What did you do?
you do the best to be there. And when Dave's gone, he was so intimidated by me not liking it that he tried to do less and less if I was around. I figured I knew he would need his fix because otherwise it would be severe withdrawals. But at
Hmm.
the same time, he did a little bit less around me because he knew I hated it. And
Well, that's
I
good.
hated it. And I lived in Seattle during the grunge years where that was very prominent.
Yep.
I mean, I can't, I can't even imagine. But it's good that he tried to do less in your presence. That's great,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if I was placed in a situation, I'd probably run. So it's good that you had that positive influence on people to try
Trust
And
me,
and.
if you were a
Allison,
Dave behind, you wouldn't have run because he was the best I've ever had.
Allison,
He wa-
some people don't know the band that that particular person was in. Maybe you should mention the band that he was in so they have
Oh,
perspective.
Depeche Mode?
Yeah, Depeche Mode. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, huge, huge.
Yeah.
Depeche Mode. Everybody knows them internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Even me, who never got into that scene, everybody knows who they are. Like, but Robert's like, wow, yeah, I told you we had a celebrity tonight. I told you. Um, I would, yeah. In the 90s, I was smashing party favors as well, DJ. So,
Yeah.
um, do you think that groupie culture is misunderstood by society?
Absolutely. Because again, like I said, we had Almost Famous, so everybody thinks that, oh, I'm amused. And it was so just this magical thing. And it's, or that as 80s ladies, if you've ever seen the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg and stuff, and it's kind of about Judas Priest, but, they think the 80s ladies were just jump off, nameless, faceless blow up dolls. And yeah, it is completely misunderstood because they don't realize that we're part of this family. Those rock
Yeah.
stars you idolize, they're our friends.
No, because obviously, before I met you, it's true. I had a concept of what groupie was like, which is completely wrong, different to what you're explaining. So I guess society does think exactly what you said. Do you think they still think it now, or do you think it's kind of like a bit more?
Oh yeah. I've spent the
Yeah.
past 20, almost 23 years having to defend my name to people because, the whole situation with John, I'm just, to the average fan of The Who, I'm just a nameless novelty, the greatest death in rock and roll history, right? And it's like, no, when I get very much belittled and talked down to, and I'm like, hey, don't call me a hooker. And they're like, oh, F you. And they treat me like crap. I'm like, you would be talking to me if John Entwistle was standing next to me because
Right.
John would have backhanded you.
Real,
So it's
real,
like they think because we're groupies, they can treat us like crap because they think that's how the rock stars treat us. And it's so far from the truth.
Okay, I got a story, but with what she just, what Allison just said about her, they called her a hooker and whatever. She had lawsuits or whatever, and these people are calling her names like that. One day, I was listening to our local radio station, and they started talking about the situation with John. And I called her, I'm like, dude, they just called you a prostitute hooker. She instantly contacted them the very next day. That radio station did a retraction. I heard it like, okay, she wasn't what we said she was, blah, blah, blah. So Allison got her lawyer to tell them don't be saying that kind of shit. And Allison, promote your book because a couple people in here are asking about your book, where to get it, where to find it, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, can my mods please drop the link tree? So in the link tree, you get all her the audiobook,
Yeah.
the everything on there.
It's
It's a
available on
great,
Amazon in every fashion, hard copy, paperback, audio, and ebook.
it's a great book, guys.
Oh, thank you. I wrote it myself, and I know it's not perfect. And people are like, it's monotonous. I'm like, but that's rock and roll. You wake up,
Exactly.
you go 7 a.m. alarm call, you go to the gig, you go to the hotel bar, you go to sleep. You wake up, you have a day off, you go to the hotel bar, you go to dinner, you go to sleep.
Sounds a little
I'd love
bit
to
like
read it.
And,
it sounds
and
a little bit like
I may or may not be in it for like a sentence or two. I'm just
sorry.
kidding.
Cinema would like to
Oh,
know
well,
what did you think of the film Almost Famous? What do you think about the
hated
film?
it. I hate it. People take on the persona of Almost Famous too much. Like you look on TikTok or places like that, and it's these groupies. Oh, I'm Penny Lane, or I'm this, and oh, and they're playing Almost Famous, and it's like really, it's not the true story. Penny Lane was not modeled after Pamela DeBar. She was modeled after Penny Lancaster, who was a consultant on the film. You
And
know,
they look
the other
alike.
girl was not from LA. He was from Oregon and Seattle. He lived in Seattle when I was up there, you know?
Hey, Allison, Robert Platinum wanted to know if you were ever in chains. Allison Chains. That's a great comment.
Yeah. But I chewed through them. But I was in the studio with Alice in Chains a few times.
Uh, please don't tell that one story about Jerry. No, please no.
Oh.
The
Ladies,
Stanley
don't ever
Steamer.
get them Cantrell.
The
Don't.
Stanley Steamer.
He likes to leave chocolate soft serve ice cream on people that comes out of certain places.
Mel looks
Not on
stunned.
me, not on me, just on this girl that I knew. I was like,
Hang on, back up. He wanted to eat chocolate ice cream
No,
from
he left. He did a number two on this girl that I knew, who was like pretty kind of pathetic, desperate kind of chick. That yeah, she's the kind of girl that went to AA to try to get together with Steve Jones at the Sex Pistols. And if Steve Jones isn't going to have you, honey, give it up.
Exactly
and
right.
Jerry just like he just squatted and did his thing and left her.
Yeah.
He
He's not.
pooed on a girl.
Yep.
Yes, he did. And I just ran into him about 6 months ago. He
Yep.
didn't like to see me because I used to date his best friend who played bass in a band called My Sister's Machine.
I love that band.
Yeah, Owen Bright. He's still up there. They're
Yep,
still
I
good
know.
friends.
And you also know Green Apple Quick Step, which a lot of people don't know. I love that band too. We
Yeah,
saw them 2
Green
years
Apple
ago.
Quick Step, Screaming Trees. I mean, like I
Yep.
said, I lived in Seattle. I was so immersed in that scene.
Yeah. My wife used to see Alice in Chains before they were even Alice in Chains. They were in a band called Diamond Lie.
Oh, that's right. I
Yep.
think I was the only recording of them on the radio singing Queen of the Rodeo.
Queen of the Rodeo is such a great song.
Yeah, it was.
It was always their closer from when I started watching them.
Yeah. The Rock Candy, Pioneer Square, Off Ramp.
Rock Candy was kind of one of our homes away from home. We saw Marilyn Manson there like in
Nice.
1994 before he was huge. Saw Bad
Yeah.
Religion there a lot of times.
I used to run around with them in my Vegas years.
Yeah. I mean, this club that we're talking about called the Rock Candy, maybe 400 people, maybe.
Yeah.
Saw Joan Jett there before too. That was awesome.
Yeah. I saw everybody from Mother Love Bone to Soundgarden. I mean, I lived around the block from Chris Cornell.
Yeah. I never saw Mother Love Bone. My wife did. And yeah.
I
You
only
were
got
up
to see
here.
him twice.
You were up here when at the time when he passed, right?
Yeah.
Wood.
And when Kurt Cobain passed, and
Yeah. That was a hard. Did you go to the Kurt Cobain wake at the Seattle Center, Allison?
no, I ran into Courtney Love backstage at a Nine Inch Nails a few days later. That was enough. Thank you very much. I was stuck in a car. I could not get my way out. I was ready to chew my way out the door.
Was that when they played with David Bowie?
They were playing the Moore Theater. That's all I remember.
Okay, I don't think I was at that show. Okay, that was crazy times back then in Seattle.
Did you ever
sad.
meet Marilyn Manson? Because Robert
Oh,
was
yeah.
just. You
Yeah,
did?
and when I was in Las Vegas, they were there mixing the Antichrist Superstar album, and we just happened to run into them at the Hard Rock one night, and we would go out dancing at the Gypsy, which was this awesome gay club, and never slept with any of them. We would just go out dancing and drinking.
What's he like? Because obviously Marilyn Manson has an image that he does, right? And I hear that he's the complete opposite. He's actually a very sweet, gentle man. Is that
when I met him, he was nice.
Yeah, no, he was a regular customer of mine in Vegas, and he was just the sweetest guy. We would close out the whole VIP room. And it was a non-alcoholic club, but he would still bring a little bit of that, and we'd just sit back, smoke a joint. He would rub my feet. I would give him a dance every once in a while, and just like the coolest guy. Like we would just chat about anything and everything, and he just made me laugh so hard.
And he's a really smart dude.
Yep.
Yeah. Somebody just said he was. I think it was Robert who said he was super. And Carson Blast said, "Hey Mel, whoa, Alison Rose, wow." I told
Hey,
you I had a celebrity in the house tonight, right? I wasn't lying.
JH, yes, I was at Drop in the Park, that free concert that Pearl Jam did at Magnuson Park. Yes, I had to take the buses in and everything.
I don't think I was at that one because I remember when Pearl Jam was still called Mookie Blaylock, and then Mookie
Yep.
Blaylock sued him.
Well, told them cease and assist with the name. I don't think
Yeah.
they actually sued. I don't think they sued him actually.
No, they did send cease and desist. And then a couple of the other guys from Pearl Jam started a side band, and it was called something. I don't even remember the name of the original band. And some strange guy out of Indiana was like, I have the rights to that name. And the guy's name that tried to sue these guys from Pearl Jam for their side band name was named Brad. So they're like, all right, we won't be using this name anymore. We'll just call our band Brad.
Yeah, I remember the band Brad.
Awesome band, right? That's why they were called Brad.
I don't remember. I don't remember if I saw them, but I remember the name in Seattle. I mean, I see stuff that me and Pearl, my wife went to, and I don't even remember going. And it's not that we were fucked up. We just go to a lot of freaking shows back in the day.
Because they were worth going to.
Oh, yeah, especially in Seattle. And I know it's not about me, but I grew up in Los Angeles, California in the 80s. Yep. So I got to see a lot of those bands in the 80s that are like Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now, like Guns N' Roses, The Poisons, whatever. I worked with bands in Hollywood, so I got to see all these bands start. Metallica started in my hometown in Norwalk, California. I still know the original bass player. Then I moved to Seattle in 1990, and in Seattle had all these great bands a year and a half later. So I got to see a lot of great bands in my lifetime that are now bigger than the world.
Yep.
Right. Kate would like to know, what was Jack Nicholson like in person?
Absolutely sweet. Just generous, funny, sweet, kind, respectful. What is that one?
Did Alison know the Purdins in Seattle?
Never heard of that.
Yeah, I never heard of them either. And like I said, I was around a lot of those bands. You know, there's a little place downtown on First called The Brick, and they had like an acoustic guitar. Oh, here comes my kitty cat. But they had like an acoustic guitar and little drums and stuff, and you could walk in, there'd be Kim Dale with Lane Staley just playing on that. You know, we went there with the guys in Pantera, was in the studio with those. You know, it was just, The Brick was the coolest place because that's just where everybody hung.
Was that in Capitol Hill area?
No, that was like, I think it was First Avenue. Like if you're going up, it was about three streets down, and right there on the corner on the left, it was just a little hole in the wall.
Yeah, because I went to a club, and Pearl and I, there was a club, it was called the Brick Room or the Brick Wall or something like that.
It was like Brick Room or Brick Wall, something like that. We just called it Brick. Don't talk your butt, kitty cat.
You kitty.
Scratch fever.
What was that, darling?
Yeah, scratch fever.
You're a little bit crackly, sweetheart. I don't know why. Your mic's a bit crackly. Okay. So, Chicken Snake and Alison, did you see AC/DC?
Oh, yeah, I dealt with AC/DC a lot. I was actually on the side of the stage when 3 kids were killed here in Salt Lake City because they oversold the general admission by 900 over fire code by 900 tickets to try and make extra money. And you know, King's X was opening. We'd been hanging out with them the night before and stuff. And yeah,
that's a real famous thing that happened on the news on MTV. Yep,
I was there. So yeah, I've had to go to AC/DC a few times. I had to send Brian a cease and desist letter because he unintentionally called me a prostitute talking about John dying on one of his little TV shows. I was like, Brian, hold on. In fact, I have Brian's hat sitting in a box under my bed right there.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I've seen AC/DC too. Yeah.
I mean, these are like obviously legends. You know, I can't believe that you were in the middle of all these legends. People
they were in the middle of my legs, no. That's exactly where I wanted them to be.
Right.
Allison's the real rock star here. She had rock stars eating out of the palm of her hands.
I'm just some scandalously infamous chick.
I like scandalous chicks.
We're cool.
I like scandalous chicks too. You're definitely my cup of tea. So Catherine would like to know, does anyone remember when Bon Jovi opened for Rats?
Yeah,
And
that was the first concert I saw. When I was talking
was-
about seeing those two girls, and I just moved to Salt Lake City, and I walked in, and I was like, "Oh my God, what's all these lights and all this stuff?" And yeah, Bon Jovi was opening for Rat during that during that tour.
And I'm in a Bon Jovi video.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're doing the mosh pit. That's right, in LA where they were Bad Medicine.
Okay. You want to know the funny part of it? My sister's in here. I think she's still in here. I hadn't seen my sister in a couple of years. She called me up. Were you in a did you go to a Bon Jovi concert? I'm like, no, because fuck Bon Jovi. We only went to Bon Jovi because the hot chicks were there. We'd go steal all the glam rockers' girlfriends. And she goes, well, the video came out today and you're in the video. And I'm like, no, please, no, don't tell me this. Well, that night, the world premiere on MTV came. I sat and watched the video and I'm like, motherfucker. My mom's all giddy. You're on MTV. I'm like, don't. She recorded it and showed everybody. I'm like, Mom, don't fucking do that. All my friends were just razzing me because I was working with the heavier, thrashy metal bands, and you're not in Bon Jovi. You don't go to Bon Jovi videos. You don't. Like, whatever, it happened.
You did. It's on record.
It's on record, yeah. Hey, I did get kicked out of that show because I was throwing ice at Richie Sambora, and I hit Richie Sambora in the middle of the head with an ice cube.
Oh, hey, that was my guy for a while. He's
That's why I threw it at him. I'm like, no, she's mine.
no,
Oh, Allison, I fucking love you.
There you go, guys. We know who's got the big one. Who out of the most famous? This is so bad. I'm asking this. Out of all the famous people that you've been with, who was Little Wiener?
Oh God. Oh God. This guy from the band Romantics, that song, What I Like About You. I don't know if it was, the stuff that he was doing that struck it or what, but I was just like, really? What is it? I was just like, just go down. Just use your mouth. And I did some Gene Simmons come out of the because I used to date Eric Carr, the drummer. But anyway, yes, I know. But anyway, I thought Gene Simmons coming out of the shower. I call that an acorn in a cotton patch.
He's going to send you a cease and desist letter because he doesn't want that getting out with all his 5,000
But
women.
it's been out for years. His own former wardrobe chick called it that too.
So his tongue makes up for his small member.
I don't know. He tried to hit on me. I was like, no, I don't want. He just creeped me out. And
He's kind of the creepy
He
uncle.
gave me a broom key, and I went and found Eric Carr instead.
Yep, I remember reading that.
Yep.
So Catherine was. What about Stephen Percy?
Oh, so okay. I thought I always wanted Stephen Piercy. And the second time I met him, we were on the back of the bus. I'm like, yeah, got me that Stephen Piercy, right? He pulled down his pants. I'm like, what the hell is that? I was like, what's smegma is that, dude? Wash it. And I just, I like got the heck out of there. And I don't know. No, dude.
Wash it?
Yeah. I don't think he'd washed it for days. Ugh. What is it?
Oh wow! I'm just No, let's not.
Oh shit! There's a question in the chat that I know you're going to want to answer.
What?
How does Kip taste?
What was that?
He's Kip Winger from Winger. He still remembers that to this day because hottest guy. They were open up for Ozzy. I wanted Kip Winger. Sharon Osbourne's on the phone. Have you seen my husband? I'm like, no. I'm like, he gave me some black pills and left. She's like, what pills, darling? And then she was supposed to come save me because I'd never done pills. And next thing you know, I'm in Kip Winger's room, and I'm really good at what I do sometimes, and it just left a surprise in my mouth. I spit it in a hotel glass and left it on his nightstand. It was just that bad. There was no way I'd swallow those kids. No way.
He's kind of a creepy dude too.
No, he's pretty cool, but when he
Well, he
flipped on the
treated.
right, was wearing that T-shirt in the video and nothing else, and I was like, huh. But then I
That's
saw what
funny.
was going on between his legs. I'm like, all right. But then Reb Beach of Winger, he's very known for his size too. He used to go up to the roadies and like flip it over their shoulder and like start smacking their face with it.
He smacked. Oh, okay. That was
Yeah.
unusually okay. Just randomly smacked anybody around the face with it.
Yeah. What were they talking about? The clubhouse? Oh, Vincent Paul's club, the top of clubhouse. Yeah. I was supposed to go down there and do, because I knew Vinny before he opened that up. And I was supposed to go down and do shows at the clubhouse, but I never made it because I would just end up hanging out with Vin the whole time I was there.
Wow. So, so that was Clue. Hi, darling Clue. Sorry, I was going back to multitasking and I confused myself. I'm not very good at multitasking. So, have you ever met any men groupies?
Yeah. There was a local guy, Brad, who he was kind of the Cameron Crowe of our era. He would come in, he wrote for, 16-year-old, he wrote for a local slug magazine, and he would come in and just take pictures. And yeah, he was kind of our male version of a groupie.
I mean, I don't see why are you a male groupie down here beneath me? Are you a male groupie?
Maybe. My question was, can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You're
It's still crackly.
Okay, I'll just.
So Alison, what was, and this is a two-part question. What is your most memorable moment, good memorable, most brilliant memorable moment? So we'll start with that.
Losing the squirt gun fight. That's her best memory.
Whatever. We won that squirt gun. I'm going to be in Seattle soon. You just wait. You just wait. You won't see it coming.
That's our inside joke, guys.
The best, most memorable moment was the night Vinny, Paul, and I got together in Seattle. We had been down here in Salt Lake City. I was living in Seattle at the time. We'd been down here at the show in Salt Lake, went to, came back up. My friend Andrea and I went to hang out backstage. Vin and I got together. I introduced her to Mike Inez from Alice in Chains. Next thing you know, it's like everybody was backstage in Seattle. Like the guys from Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Green Apple, everybody that was anybody in Seattle was backstage. And we ended up.
Was that the time when they played with Skid Row?
No, Skid Row is Typo Negative and Pantera.
Okay.
But yeah, so we ended up in Alice in Chains studio and hearing I think it was their last album they made in '95.
I don't remember which one that one was.
And
Was
we
it
ended up
Dirt?
going there all the time because Andrea dated Mikey as long as I dated Vin for like 8 years. So that whole night, just because of the magic that was going on between Vin and I, going to the studio, I mean, just everything about that night was absolutely amazing. It was probably my most favorite rock and roll night.
Right. And so to flip that, what was your worst moment?
Oh, waking up next to a dead lover.
Right.
When John Entwistle died, yeah.
That must have been
shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted it to be hard in the morning, not stiff.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
dark humor.
Yeah, dark humor.
John had a very macabre sense of humor. He would have got that.
He would have laughed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, obviously. I mean, that must have been quite traumatizing because somebody's passed right next to you.
Yeah. Or watching the kids die at AC/DC because we watched them be pulled out of the front row, being squished against the metal gates. And,
no way.
Yeah. I mean, that gate collapsed first song at AC/DC.
So, what did that happen often? Kids being squashed at the front in concerts?
No, because when you go to a concert, if you're on the floor and general admission where everybody's standing around, when you see the mixing board out in the middle of the crowd, the FOH board, you kind of see the crowd dissipate because that's fire code. Well, they sold 900 GA tickets over fire code so that place was packed all the way back to the doors on the floor, which no. And it was just, when the concert comes on, everybody starts to rush forward. And that's what they did. And it was like a floodgates, literally, of human beings.
And when I go to concerts and I have general admission, I'm always up near the barricade, and
Yeah.
it gets crazy up there. A little claustrophobic for some people. I love it. I feel at home there. But usually it's not sold over by 900 tickets. I'm sure that was really horrible for some of those people.
Yeah, well, 3 of them died, and I still remember one
Yeah.
of the girls' faces. She didn't die, but this total little blonde girl standing at the front gate, just squished again, screaming at the security guard, get me out of here, get me out of here." They finally pulled her out, but yeah, just seeing all those faces.
Gracie Gray, Alice in Chains was not a band in 1979 and 1980. Do you mean 89 and 90?
I never said 1970 or because I was in
No. So
1979, I was 9. No, I said
no,
1995.
somebody in chat said I saw Alice in Chains in Memphis in 1979 and 1980.
Oh,
They weren't a band at that particular time. I think she
yeah,
means
they're
90.
probably 12 years old.
Yeah.
So that was that one. So quickly on to the next one. Have you met any? No, sorry. Would you do anything differently if you had to do it all over again?
No, no, I would have finished college because I was in college for art history. I wanted to work for Sotheby's and stuff like that. When John died, but then that all happened and I left Vegas, and then my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So I would just finish college. That'd be the only thing I would redo.
But all the fun. I mean, that must be lovely. You know, all those memories that you had. You know,
Yeah.
and you've written a book about it, and you know, you've become kind of famous because people are like, "Wow, look who you've got in here." You know. But Catherine said it almost happened. I can't imagine how scary that must be. At a Bon Jovi concert, she was at the very front.
Ooh,
Yeah. I was crushed, and Brenda says I was crushed against the rail at Iron Maiden in
yeah. I
1992.
that always scares me because you get bruised and you could easily with the crowd. And I hope you're feeling better, Catherine. But with the crowd, they push up against those metal gates. And so many people would come out with a broken rib, and I just,
Right.
yeah, no, I don't want to be in that. I don't mind being in the
Oh,
mosh
that's my
pit.
favorite. That's my favorite place, up in front.
Not mine. It's just too scary.
Yeah, I would die because I'm 4'11" and they probably wouldn't even see me.
And the
And
Brenda in chat
I'm
is
glad
my
you,
sister.
Catherine, you and your sister made it out of there because how
Yeah,
scary is that?
right. What were you saying, Chicken Snake?
I said the Brenda that's in chat. That's my sister, the one that saw me in that video
Oh, that's your
first.
sister,
Oh,
Brenda. Hello, Chicken Snake, sister. Hello.
Hey,
Um,
don't tell her, but she cray, really cray.
she's cray cray.
Don't tell her
whatever.
I said that.
I'm recruiting her for the second round of the squirt gun fight for
Oh,
the epic battle.
she would be down. She cray.
She's
Tell
on
me
my
a little
team.
bit. Tell me about the Osbournes. Did you not the Osbournes? Osbournes. No. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Osbournes. Tell me about
I
them.
love Sharon. She was so cool. I liked her I liked her when she was still not famous and fat. Because she was like a rock and roll mom. Like I said, that night
I
that I
love
was in
Sharon.
Kid Winger, Ozzy, I'd never done black beauties before. I haven't done them since. But Ozzy was just doling out these black pills. And she's like, and I'd met Sharon before. She's like, who is this? I'm like, it's Alice. And she's like, oh, hello, darling. How you
Hi,
doing?
darling.
And she just is talking, and she's like, do you see my husband? I'm like, I can't really see anything, Sharon. She's like, why? I'm like, your husband gave me some pills. She's like, oh, shit. She's like, what did they look like? I'm like, they were black. She's like, oh, fuck. Were they solid in gel? I'm like, solid. She's like, oh, God, mommy's right on the way down. Don't move, darling. By the time she got done, I was going down Kip Winger.
Uh,
Don't move, darling. I can see her doing that.
I could so see Sharon doing that.
So
She
what
was
was Ozzy
a
like?
cool rock and roll mama.
Right. What was Ozzy like back then? Because obviously we hear the stories.
Sharon.
Yeah, the same. He was still kind of bubbling, still just doing drugs, still just kind of shaky, still Ozzy.
I love Ozzy. I want to go to his last show in London.
Oh,
He's very he's a very
yeah, because
individual.
there's a few bands playing on that. I think the Sex Pistols are playing too. Without
Pantera, Sex Pistols. Yeah, a lot.
no,
Yeah, a
do
lot of
not call
bands.
them Pantera. That is not Pantera. Vincent Paul never wanted this. He
I
hated
know.
this. He would not get
I
back on
know.
I will die on that hill defending Vincent Paul till the day I die for that.
I know you will. I know you
That's
will.
not Pantera. That's a bunch of scabs. Zach Wild can suck me because he just stabbed Vincent Paul big time because Zach knew he did not want to do that. He knew he hated Rex. He knew that he would never want to do that, but Zach needed the money so bad, he did it.
Yeah, it definitely was. I saw it with the Metallica show and I enjoyed it, but it was definitely a money grab.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the best advice a rock star has ever given you?
Don't take the brown acid.
True that. True that. That was David Lee Roth. He was like, he's like, a hole is a hole, but a soul is a soul. You just fall in love with the soul. He's like, get to know the soul and know your own soul, and you'll have life figured out.
I see. That is good advice,
Yeah.
It is, because like it sounds to me like you said, the whole family concept of it. I don't think it would be like that nowadays. I think it'd probably be too competitive, because I think women have definitely changed since the 80s. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, I think it'd be, like you said, competitive to see who could get the best picture for their TikTok or their Instagram or
Yeah.
stuff like that. And it's like you're missing out on the connection that we all had, whether we were with the band or standing out in the crowd or whatever. Everybody in that building at that concert was just vibing.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't do that anymore. You just got everybody disconnected and get out of my space.
Right. This is what I was saying, that earlier, everybody's like this now all the time.
Yeah.
And rather than just looking.
And nowadays people pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do a fake meet and greet.
Yeah.
And, you get this, you like $500 to meet the band for a couple minutes and you walk away or whatever.
And that's one of the things that killed the groupie scene, because all of a sudden the Visa VIP is what we call them. Like I was backstage with Aerosmith in Vegas, and there were these, I was probably about 30 at the time, and there were these women that were beautiful women, still very well put together. They're probably late 40s, early 50s, and they had the VIP visas, and they were trying to get backstage to the dressing rooms where you had to have certain passes. And they were like looking at me sitting on this road case, talking to some of the road crew guys that I knew. And they're like, oh, look, it's Penny Lane. And then they were arguing with this stupid security guard. No, we have backstage passes. Don't you see? And he's like, yeah, you have meet and greet passes. And I come walking by, and they're like, why are you letting her by? I'm like, yeah, now don't you wish you were Penny Lane, bitches?
Exactly.
I'm going to the dressing room. You're going to the front row.
Right. Did you ever meet Alice Cooper? Because Ozzy was
yeah. I met Alice Cooper a few times. Not my favorite person.
Why? Was he an asshole?
Yeah, he's just convinced of his own self that he's better than everybody else. But he plays a good golf game.
There you go. Vinnie Carsten Blast says Vinnie Paul was one of the most welcoming and friendly people I've ever met. Insanely approachable. We played a few small shows at the clubhouse, and he had us come to his place afterwards both times.
Okay, did he have the Crown Royal pool at the time? And was it during the because Vinny was very much loved. He was like, I call him the American Lemmy, because he was that vibe. He was that kind of guy that just was genuine, cool as fuck as ever, just one of the sweetest guys. And he had a party at his house for the Dallas Stars when they won the Stanley Cup. And they decided, I don't know who it was, but somebody decided they were going to toss the Stanley Cup into the pool and miss the pool by that much. So here with the Stanley Cup, chick, 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 chick. But yeah, he's absolutely right about Vin. Vincent Paul was just, that was one of the things. We had this instant insane chemistry where I didn't even see him coming down the hall. I just felt the energy.
Is that him? That Rampage?
That's Dime.
That's his brother. That's the guitar player. That's Dime. And I actually saw Dime it was about 2 months before the whole Nathan Gale thing happened.
Yeah, Mel, I don't know if you know.
Dime was like, you're sleeping with my mom. I'm like, dude, I'm sleeping with your brother. And I remind you of your mom?
The guy, the guy he was showing on the picture, Mel, got shot on stage playing a show.
No way.
Some fan got on stage and shot him in the head, and shot some roadies.
A guy who was dishonorably discharged from the military for schizophrenia. And for 2 weeks before Christmas, his mom, a little bit before Christmas, his mom decided to give him his Christmas present early to cheer him up, and it was the gun that he killed those guys with.
Yeah.
Schizophrenic with the gun.
No way, no
Yep.
way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very loved
killed his
guitar
friend.
player in the scene.
That's insane. That must have been. Oh my God! Can you imagine the audience witnessing that?
Yeah, yeah. I was actually in the UK when that happened, and it just I started getting phone calls at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and just
Yeah.
I talked to Vin about 2 weeks later, and he was never the same. Never the same.
Yeah.
Oh, he
Yeah, witness.
survived. He survived the shot.
Yeah,
No.
No, he didn't.
No,
Ben
Vinny
did.
survived the shot. Dime did not. Dime, Tony, and Mayhem were killed. Vin's drum tech was John Brooks was shot in the legs.
Didn't somebody get paralyzed from the gun?
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I thought that was Cat that got paralyzed, to be quite honest.
No, I don't think that Cat was paralyzed. I'm not sure about that.
I could be wrong. That's what I thought I heard before.
What about
Lady Luck, and I said this to you before about Lemmy. Do you want to tell us what Lady Luck is talking about there?
Oh, Lady Luck, I loved Lemmy. He, again, one of the most genuine. He did not dress like that because he was putting on his show at all times. That was just Lem. That's just what he liked. When you walked into, and he lived in the same apartment in LA for like 40 years. Like when they cleaned that place out after he passed, I don't even know. But he made me spaghetti at 4 a.m., which was really just a jar of ragu and some noodles. But you know, just one of the coolest, most genuine, funny, really sweet people you would ever meet in the world. Had a lot of really interesting, like all these. He loved different war regalia and stuff. Had a lot of swords. Had a lot of just different. The whole closet was full of the white Cuban heels. You know.
Reminder would like to know: have you ever met Frank Zappa?
No, I did not meet Frank Zappa. I did meet his son Dweezil a couple times though.
Nice. Son like that?
Huh?
Was his son like that?
No, I think his dad was probably more eccentric and kind of more creative than Dweezil was. Dweezil was
I agree
nice
with
and he was funny.
Right. So, just very quickly, talk about the story. What's the story behind when you were introduced to Safaro Light Beer?
Oh, so that was the night that we put the bow in James Hetfield's hair and made him dance around like the Cowardly Lion. So, and if anybody's read it, Metallica came out with this book of alphabets in like 2017, but in 2014 the real Metallica alphabets came out in my book because we were just sitting around a board one night, and their tour manager Ian was like, "Hey, let's make up the dirty alphabets." So we all took a letter. It was all asshole, bitch, cunt, dick, direction, gonorrhea, herpes, incest, the crawlers, mono, nipple belt, stuff like that. But yeah, and yeah, that was when we were Sapporo. Put a bow in James's hair because my friend Danny and I had a bet. Because she's like, "Oh, you can't get a bow in his hair because he looks like the Cowardly Lion. He did that. He does that." And we had a bet, and I was like, "All right." And my friend wore this big white bow, so I pulled it out of her hair, put it in his, and he was like, "Courage."
Allison.
Yeah.
Who? Same story. Well, not same story. Same musician. Who puked on the band when you guys went
Denver?
to the?
Well, okay. So we're in Denver with the guys. We're at the Mile High Strip Club. There's another rock and roll club behind it. So we all go into this rock club, and you walk in, and like, here's where the band's playing. Here's a bar. Then there's this like balcony, and up to the second, and the band's kind of playing underneath this balcony. Well, my friend Danny was really, really drunk, and James had gone, and the tour manager had gone to get our drinks, and she did the international, I'm going to, sign for I'm going to puke, And I was like, "Oh, there's a bathroom right there. Let's go, let's go." And Lars was like, "I got her. I'll take care of her because she's my girl." And so he doesn't take her to the bathroom. The band's right below us, like you could just barely see the drum kit. The lead singer's sitting there like this, looking up to us because they see us walking with Metallica. These guys are like, "It's gonna be such a cool night. Metallica's here, cool." Oh, dude, no. Lars did not take Danny to the bathroom. He leaned her right over that railing over the balcony and said, "Let it rip." And she started puking, started bouncing off the cymbal of the drum, hit the bass player. Yeah, people started puking. They were mad. We ran
That
the
is
hell out
rock
of
and roll right there. That is rock and roll right there. I don't give a fuck.
Alison, the chat says, you know, because obviously everyone's really wanting to hear, but just to slow it down because everyone wants to hear every juicy detail. So we need to slow it down.
I know.
Oh my
Well,
God. Oh my God.
there's just so many juicy details. Like that book's not even half the story, and it's just my story.
Right. And Catherine would like to know, did you talk about John Skies? God rest him.
Sykes.
We did, Catherine. We talked about John Sykes and the upside down tour bus trick.
Was that where that photo came from?
Yep. John
Well,
Sykes,
sorta.
like I said, he just recently passed away. What was it, Catherine? A couple weeks ago? 3 weeks ago?
About 3 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that is recent. Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you meet Ian Jeffries, tour manager of Metallica and Def Leppard?
Ian, Jeff, well, we were just at the hotel the night before. My friend Kristen she's like, I feel like she came to my school because we went to do 2 different schools. And she's like, I just have a feeling Def Leppard's in town. I'm like, okay. So we just went down to the hotel, met Def Leppard, and that was one of the first times we met Ian. And Ian toured with a lot of other bands. It just kind of became a second dad to us kind of type.
And Lady Luck would like to know, could you tell us about the morning after story?
Which morning after? There's a lot of morning afters.
I don't know. She just said, ask her about the morning after story. Tell us about any morning after story, shall I say?
I'm thinking maybe she's thinking about the morning after when John died.
I'm not sure. It was in
Yes.
the same.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Well, I woke up. His arm was still around me, and I just thought, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, as you do it when you wake up. And I just walked to the bathroom. I was like, hope he's watching me as I go to the bathroom. He's all nice and stiff when I come out. Well, he was.
Oh
Just not the way I wanted. I did. It's really strange because there, we hear the phrase deadly silent. There's really a sound to the deadly silence when there are 2 people in the room and only one of you is breathing.
Wow.
And I was trying to wake him up because he had taken his hearing aids out and, he slept pretty heavy. And I was like, why isn't he snoring? He's a snorer. And I was trying to wake him up and I'm like, what's that rash on his face? And it was lividity, so I somehow panicked, but somehow kept my head, was trying to do CPR on him, trying to get his body, found the rooming list, called his best friend, who was his personal assistant at the time, Cy Langston, who we've sadly lost since then as well. But yeah, it was just, I don't even know how I kept my head about me.
Wow.
Sometimes you're just adrenaline kicks in and you just got to do what you got to do, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Well,
Jackson, you blocked it out now.
I mean, I barely got my clothes on before the paramedics and everybody else, because I called down to the front desk. I'm like, yeah, I need 911. I'm like, to room 658. And she's like, let me connect you. I'm like, connect me? No, just call them for me.
Get them here now.
Damn. Well, Lady Luck said any other one, Mel. So any other morning after story.
Oh, and I cannot tell you how many times I went to walked across that hotel lobby. I am not afraid of that walk of shame. I would do it 100, because you know what? I just got down to bed with the rock star. I do not care. I'm going to look good walking across that lobby, and there were morning afters, like, if the band asks you to go back to their hotel, make sure it's in the same state or city at least.
Yeah.
Because that's a harsh morning after when you don't have a toothbrush with you.
Yeah, I mean, I went to Ibiza. I was living in Ibiza and I disappeared for a week. I don't remember very much, but I disappeared as in I went off with a friend. And the only thing I remember, there was 2, buying a toothbrush.
And buying a clean pair of knickers.
And buying a clean
I
pair
don't wear
of knickers.
knickers.
So, Romano, did you ever meet Guns N' Roses?
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. I wanted Axel. I got Axel, but
You
he was
got
such a
Axel! You got Axel!
yeah, he was so bad, but he was such a heavy smoker. That's all you could smell. And I think my vajayjay needed a quit smoking patch after he got done so bad. Like, I was like, dude, oh, I mean, Marvel fucking light right there. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Axel, no, brush your teeth. And then he was throwing a fit. His manager, tour manager at the time, Doug Thaler, was like, "Go get him on that stage right now." Because, like I said, one of the things you always hear is, "Go take care of your man," right? And I'm like, "Oh, son of a bitch! I have to get him on stage. He's throwing a fit." I go in the dressing room, and it wasn't aimed at me. He was just throwing a fit. Just all of a sudden, a vodka bottle just goes. So I was like, "Oh yeah." Pick one up and it's like, bam, threw it right at him and said, "Now get your ass on the stage." He would have got his ass on that stage.
So
Allison,
so
NPC
he
has
was a
a
little
question.
bit
It's down in
crazy.
yellow. Could you read that?
Okay, hang on. I
If I
was
had
going to
my
ask you that.
glasses on, I could read it.
Okay,
Oh,
NBC, thank you for the super chat of NT 150. I'm not quite sure what currency that is, NT, but Hail Mel, the queen of the Panaverse, all of the above sector is back. Alison, what rock god was the funniest and who had the kindest soul? Great story, sis. You're a legend and a
Oh,
muse.
the
Thank you,
funniest.
darling. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, God, I can't even think because you know what? I sometimes think Lars Ulrich was the funniest, actually.
yeah.
He was always up to something. He was like a little squirrel, just always up to something. You never knew what nuts were going to happen. You know, the kindest soul, absolutely somewhere between Vinnie Paul and Ronnie James Dio.
Ronnie James Dio's kind. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most down to earth, just never turned his back on anybody. And Jason Newsted was pretty nice. He was like very, very kind to all of his fans.
And so that was the kindest and the funniest
Yeah.
as well. NPC is a legend. I love NPC. And thank you so much for the super chat, darling. So I wanted to go back to the Bon Jovi because obviously he's huge. No, Axl Rose. Sorry, Axl Rose. He's huge and he was a beautiful man. But you're saying he was grimy, like not
That was just,
clean.
he wasn't grimy at all. He was kind of basic in bed, but it's just because he smoked so much. It's like his fingertips were nicotine soaked, and everybody smoked at the time, but it was just like his breath, everything. I was like, here's an Altoid. Tried to toss it in his
And
mouth so he doesn't notice. And he was a total nice guy to me. He was very sweet, even though he could be a jerk to other people. But it just, I expected more out of Axl Rose, you know? And it was
Yeah,
more of a
because he was
ball laden
huge.
experience rather than the stick.
Allison, what year was this around? Was it like the beginning of Guns N'
Hold on, let me
Roses?
see. Hold on.
Because Guns N' Roses was kind of a sleaze rock band in Hollywood. They were from the streets. They were grimy. They were dirty.
This
I
tour,
can't remember what year. I can't see.
93, I want to say. Yeah, 93.
Yeah, so yeah, he should have cleaned up by then because they were on top of the world in '93. Yeah.
Oh, no, he wasn't cleaned up. Here's the word Rolling Stone.
Oh, was that the one at the Rose Bowl where he fell
Yeah,
off the
this was
stage?
in Vegas, when I first met Vic.
Oh, because
Yeah.
I went to see Guns N' Roses, Living Color, and Aerosmith at the Rose Bowl in L.A. And Axl was doing his singing and whatever, and he fell off the freaking stage. He got
He
up
fell off
back
the
on the.
stage.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very famous thing. He gets on. He gets back on the stage and talks about if people in this band don't clean up, this is the last show we're gonna do. I mean, it's very famous. You can find it on YouTube even. But yeah, me and my sister, not the one in chat, my other sister, and a bunch of our friends went to the Rolling Stones. It was on the Steel Wheels tour. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
I
fell off
think
the stage.
this one was after. This was the No Security tour. This is 1999.
Oh, okay, yeah, way after.
And then this one was the very first ever live streamed concert, best concert I've ever seen. By the pool was Natalie Cole on a glass stage over the pool. Then came Brian Setzer with this swing band, and Tony Bennett and his like 80-year-old drummer on this 3-piece kit jammed with Brian Setzer. Kiss, when it was the original Kiss, back in their makeup for the first time. The Who, which I was with John there. The Who was inside, and a bunch of other bands that night. Like all these just crazy different bands in one place that night. Just so insane.
Yeah, me and my wife saw the very first show back as Kiss, the original members. We flew down to LA because they did like a practice show for
Yeah.
their upcoming tour at Irvine Meadows, and I was like a kid in a candy store. It's like my favorite band was I Kid was back together in their makeup, and it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen. Even though it sucked, it was still I was giddy. I was giddy as fuck.
But it was still all the original members back then. You know, it was still Eric, it
Yes.
was still Peter Criss and Ace Frehley and
Oh yeah.
Peter Paul.
And Ace has always been my favorite ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, I saw him on his solo tours.
So, just another question very quickly. What is the just in case room? An extra room band's book that helps people find where they are.
I have no clue.
No, the just in case room is back then. I don't know if it still goes on, but on every big tour, there was always a couple extra rooms just in
case.
So yeah, like if one of the band members had family out, or one of the roadies had friends and they were too drunk to drive, or they didn't want us to be drunk driving home, or we weren't sleeping with anybody in the band, that would be our room.
Right, because here it says intimate powwow chat room, bathtub full of alcohol in it, and you put we talked about the bow on James's head, but
yeah,
what's
we
the
were in
one
the
with
just in
alcohol?
case room. And it was just a basic 2-bedroom hotel room, nothing crazy. It was just, and that was just like, nobody wants to have the party in their hotel room. So again, you go down to the just in case room. That's where all the beer is. You're just hanging out,
And you jump in a bath full of alcohol? That sounds fun.
No, just there's a whole bathtub full of ice and like beer and Jack Daniels
right, just
and
the
whatever.
drink. I thought you jumped in it.
Yeah. And Lars's cocaine out on the nightstand. The cops knocking on the door because we're being too loud. And there was only like 7 of us in that room, 8 of us. Yeah. But yeah, I think there still is a just in case room because tours are so big these days. There's like 2 stages, so there's 300 crew guys. You never know. You could forgot to book somebody.
Right. So Chicken Snake, what's your fondest memory with Alison? I'm just curious. Apart from the water fight.
LA.
Chicken Snake? Oh, he might be doing something. Alison, what's your favorite memory with Chicken Snake?
I had to take a piss.
We were in LA, and here we go. I've got a picture of it right here. Oh, let me cover.
Yeah, cover.
This is in LA when after we had met on.
Look at those shorts that I'm wearing.
This day, the day of the infamous water gun fight. But this is, and Sean came to visit us LA. This was 89 to 90 New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
so,
that's 89 to 90.
Stopped by. We had a couple drinks.
I went to Armored Saint that night afterwards.
Yep.
And you did Dangerous Toys.
Just a guitar player.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Now you did the show.
Alison, this is a loaded question. Ozzy would like to know, do you think did he change the music industry?
Did who change the music? Me?
Did he change the music industry?
Oh, did he change? Yeah, I think he kind of changed it to where I don't think he changed it for the people who are legitimate people. He changed it for the people who are sleazy like him. Because you can't hide anymore, So he made it so that people are more comfortable to come forward. He didn't change it for the rest of us, for the normal people,
Right.
I don't think he changed it in the rock and roll genre of music. He may have changed some with the hip hop and stuff. I don't think he had anything.
I think he was a driving force of the hip hop, but I think, there was so much sinister going on that trickled down to Diddy that it just sort of became even worse with him.
And my mind was like, what was the band Skid Row like? God, I know Skid Row. Wow.
They were a lot of fun. Sebastian got naked and ran through the fountain at the hotel out by the parking lot.
Right.
Was it Tommy Lee there too?
Yeah, it was Tommy Lee, Mickey. There was a bunch of cocaine and Danny, and somehow we were all supposed to go get naked and run through the fountain at Little America down here in Salt Lake, and just ended up being
What?
Sebastian. They were just
And
naked.
was anybody hurt by Tommy Lee and his member? Did anybody get hurt?
His pants that night, so thankfully no, just Danny. She kept hitting the top of the roof of her mouth. No,
knocking people over with that big thing?
yeah.
And Classic Grand says, what do you think of Bobby Brown, ex-wife of Jenny Lane?
You know, I think she's gone through a lot of stuff in her life, and you know, somebody had said something on. I posted on another YouTube channel something about her, and they're like, "Oh, I hate her. She's a drug addict." Da 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 da. I'm like, yeah, well, she survived her struggle, didn't she? And I think that woman's been through a lot in her life, and she's owned every inch of it. And I have respect for that because she hasn't hidden. She's never hid behind any bullshit. She's never hid behind a facade. You know, she's not necessarily like someone that I think is my favorite person in the world, but at least she owns her shit, good or bad.
Right. And it's important, I think, for people to own their shit, even though sometimes by owning your shit, you do get a lot of shit thrown back, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So another question from Lady Luck. Ask about the afterglow, generalization and praise of the road crew, groupie of what they meant on tour.
What you mean? What about the road crew?
Yeah, well, it says ask about the afterglow.
Oh God, which afterglow? God, I'm sorry. I'm like so tired right now.
No, I know we were talking earlier. You said you hadn't slept very well. Okay, Draven wants to come up and ask you a question. 1 second. Let me
Okay.
just put the banner up quickly, just in case it's not Draven. Hang on, guys. I'm a bit slow. Draven,
no.
nice to meet you.
Well.
Hey,
How are we
Draven, how
doing?
you doing?
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Good. Did you
Hello.
what question did you have for our lovely
Yeah.
Alison? Draven, you're muted.
Or is this stunned to be talking to such a rock star?
I'm sorry, hang on, I'm sorting out my audio.
So while he gets that sorted out, My Delicious Addiction, your YouTube video, you talk to us about your addiction to rock and roll.
Oh, we just talked about, you know, I mean, rock and roll can be such an addiction for a groupie. It's like the second you hear those tour buses, you know, when you walk up on the hotel and you smell just the gasoline from the tour buses, or, you know, you get your backstage pass hit on
Oh,
to
wow.
you. It's, you know, it was my form of heroin, I guess. It's just like, yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to walk around being adored with by these guys, you know?
Nice.
And then people look at you like, oh my God, who is she? Yeah, it was a total addiction to want to feel yourself, to feel comfortable, to be around your friends that you felt most like yourself with, you know?
It's
Yeah, who wouldn't be
fascinating.
addicted to that?
Well, sorry, I got my audio sorted here. Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey.
Yeah, great interview, great show. We got a question from the chat. How much cocaine have you done in your life? Are you silver diamond level?
3 times in my life, all before the age of 20. That was it. It was never my thing. I hated it. I was
Yeah,
never
I
a
don't blame
big
you.
drugging partier like that.
Hell yeah.
She likes her weed though. That's it.
I
Hell
do.
yeah.
I like my weed.
And nothing wrong with that at all.
No.
Right.
Yeah, no,
So,
but I never did that much cocaine, but I was nobody's mother, you know?
Hell yeah.
but like she said already in the interview that there was a lot of people taking a lot of stuff, which she
Oh
wasn't
yeah.
comfortable with. Yeah.
Well, one of the times that pissed me off about that the most was after John passed away, and I told you I was seeing Glenn Tipton of Judas Priest, and he at 57. Oh God, he was a nightmare that night. He just had to have some cocaine, had to have some cocaine. And I hated it. And I was about to walk away from him. And he's like, don't leave me. And I couldn't leave him, because I didn't want him to be in a bad situation. So we go back to the hotel room and he's trying to get me to do this cocaine with him. I'm like, no, I don't do cocaine. You know this. So he took his hard thing, down there and decided to put a line on there. And he's like, here, I thought you loved my coke so much. Do it right there. And I was like, so I got down on my knees, put it in my hand, and just went, blew it right off his dick, went, got a wash rag, wiped it off. And then he wiped it the next morning. Yep.
So what you said, you blew him.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah.
You blew it away.
Right.
Oh, that's.
And because he put that on there, it took me about an hour and a half to suck him off that night. Good God. Talk about a rock job.
Oh, totally.
I would have thought with that on it, will it not go numb? Like,
well, that's why it took me
probably
about
why
an
it
hour
took a
and a half
long
to
time.
suck that thing off.
Oh wow! Hey, thanks.
That's
going
the
back to the
trick.
chat. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's the trick for premature. Just put a little cocaine on it.
I don't ever recall in my experience that happening to me, but no judgment, because whatever, it's a rock and roll lifestyle. That's what it was
It's
all
rock
about.
and roll. You just got to roll with the punches sometimes.
Yep.
I was going to ask, do you have any bedroom tips for rock stars lasting longer other than that one?
What was that?
Yeah, totally. You sounded like Optimus Prime.
I didn't understand that very well because
you were breaking up a little bit.
Okay, let me.
Why don't you go back out and come back in? It might be better.
Okay, make sure you post the link.
Yeah, I'll open up the panel soon if anybody wants to ask Alice some questions. Yeah. Brenda says that adds a whole new dynamic to Coke Dick.
That's my sister.
Yeah, that's Brenda.
I don't need to hear that about my sister. Fuck that shit.
My team.
Joe says his first concert was Motley Crue. Look, I don't know who Motley Crue are. Have you met Motley Crue? I don't know who they are.
Motley Crue's the people I got stuck in the elevator with. Megan at the
right. Okay, sorry. My bad.
Junior. Anthrax, yeah. Hung out with Anthrax a few times. They were pretty boring.
They were boring?
Yeah, Anthrax was pretty boring. They tried to be wild, but they just didn't have it in them.
What are some of the rap stars you hung out with, Allison? I mean, I know, but everyone else doesn't.
We were hanging out on the MC Hammer tour. I've hung out with Ludacris. Oh God, yeah, there was a ton of them that we've hung out with, especially my Vegas years. E40, Snoop Dogg introduced me to my weed dealer in Vegas before it was legal. Yeah, we've hung out with a lot of people.
And then
Bobby Brown off my shoulder, Whitney Houston's ex-husband. Just get off of me.
Bobby Brown. Did you say?
You bit me.
Oh.
Did you get a shot after that when he bit you?
On you? He was like stuck his hand down the back of my. Tries to stuck his hand down the back of my pants. He's like, "I want to take a bite out of you." I was like, "Get off."
I don't need that shot.
No.
Dawson says, any bedroom tips for rock stars trying to last longer in bed other than the cocaine?
Go with the ugly girls. No, I'm kidding. That's bad. Nobody's ugly. Everybody's got some beauty, I don't know, because all the rock stars I've known, I'm like, no, you got to at least take an hour. So you want to last longer, go down on the women longer. They'll last longer in bed.
There you go.
Or date the ones over 40. They take a little longer to get off anyway.
So your quote, you're not having fun unless you come home with some sort of injury. What kind of injuries did you get? Yeah.
That's true. I mean, we all know. We all have those nights where we're having so much fun that, well, we got to have band-aids on our knees. Or like one girl, this girl Cammy that we were frenemies with, she fell over a curb and we couldn't find any band-aids at the club we were at. So we found the machine with the 25-cent little mini pads, and I had surgical tape, so we taped it to her chin.
Oh, wow.
Well, she was
And I knew
bleeding. It was cut open.
I knew Cammy too. I knew her too.
Yep, she was in that picture. Yep.
Yep.
Any Tampax up anybody's noses?
No Tampax up anybody's noses.
Just curious.
No,
Oh,
we wore the blood proudly. And like I
only
say,
when
never
they,
trust the chicks in the hills with in the mosh pit.
or only if they were doing too much blow and they fucking were bleeding, that you had to pack your nose.
That's
Pack
true.
your nose.
That's true.
I'll drop the link, guys. I'll open up. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Alison, yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
go
Allison,
ahead.
are you having fun, Allison?
I am.
This,
I'm having a
this,
blast
this is.
today.
I hang out with this group a lot here. Mel is one of my favorites. I knew her before she was even a YouTuber.
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in the chat, and 2 years later, here I am still.
But don't you love it? I love it though. I mean,
I do. I love my community. I do. I
Yeah.
really love my community. My community is like cool, and we do have laughs. We have tears too sometimes, but
Yeah.
it is what it is, right?
Allison, have you ever done a live like this, or is all yours
no,
pre-recorded
I
that you
haven't
do?
done a live yet, but I plan on doing one.
Lives
I
are
plan on
great. I
doing
mean, it just like earlier when all the sound was messing up. It's just like a rock show. Sometimes you just got to work out the kinks as
Yeah.
you go.
That's the way it goes. That's life.
Well, the lives can be tricky depending on how you do them. Open panels are generally good, but I didn't tell you earlier when I dropped the link for Chicken Snake. Somebody showed me their in the backstage, and I just
Ah! That does happen a lot. So,
Why
Allison,
did
you're
you
gonna have to.
share the rest of us? No, I'm kidding.
it happens a
Want to
lot.
keep them stuck? No,
I didn't want to disrupt the interview, so I was just like, look, I don't need to see
Mel,
that.
He
Yeah,
wanted to be judged. He wanted to be judged by Allison. Yeah, been there, done that.
yeah, I did that episode.
Mel,
wicked,
it is
darling.
so good to have you back.
Oh,
Hey,
thank
Wick.
you, thank
Hi,
you.
Chicken Snake. Hi, Allison.
Hi,
It's nice
Wicked.
to meet you.
It's very nice to meet you as well.
Wicked is probably one of the sweetest people ever on panel.
Aw, thank you.
Well, anybody who has Wicked with them, it has to be.
Right, Wiccan is a star. She's my right hand lady. So there's your guys. If you want to pop up, ask questions for Alison, you're more than welcome. She's open to. I've got a couple more that I still got to go through. So talk to me about your funny merchandise with Lemmy. Like,
Well,
what's that
it
about?
all started with this. Like, I don't know why. I just sort of decided to make something that was a cover thing for my Facebook page. There was Steve Jones of the Sex Pistols, who I had a thing with for 5 years. It's like I fucked Steve Jones, and all I got was this T-shirt. Thank God. And it kind of started out with
Thank
that.
God.
And then I saw a picture of Lemmy hoisting a beer. It's like, cheers to me, I fucked Lemmy. Or there's an old picture of Lars Ulrich from Metallica in the 80s, all coked out. It's like, got a buck? No, too bad, I do. And
Do you
there's
still
other
do that
stuff like
merchandise?
future rock and roll star for your babies, or future rock star mom, stuff like that.
Do you still do that? The merchandise, because that sounds like
Yeah,
amazing merchandise. Yeah, you can
yeah,
get
it's
that.
just it's in the link tree.
It's in the link tree.
Yeah.
If guys, if you could drop the link tree again, because those sound like great T-shirts, right?
Yeah, they're
So,
available and everything. They're the drop shipped kind of stuff. But yeah, then I just said if somebody tells me, hey, you should make up a T-shirt for this, I'll go make it up.
With all
Allison,
the,
if someone
go
wants
ahead.
to buy a book and get it signed, how could they get a book and get it signed?
Generally, I would just have them send it to me, send it to my address, or the I have an Amazon box that I use quite often, and just have it sent to me, and I'll just sign it and mail it back to you.
Okay, so I tried looking for your book at a regular Barnes and Noble store. Let people know because
No, it's only available because I'm exclusive to Amazon, and Amazon distributes it to other people, so it's available on the Barnes and Noble website, just not in the store. because
And it's called
to get
pay
the
per view. They like print it up after you buy it.
yeah, because with Amazon, to get all the royalties, because they really are the number one publisher in the world, they give you the best royalty deals. As much as I don't like Jeff Bezos, but they still have the best platform for independent authors as far as royalties and everything goes. And they distribute to all other platforms around the world. So
Yeah.
And I found yours on Amazon,
yeah,
the audiobook. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Ramanda, welcome to the
Hi.
panel, darling.
Hi, Ramonda.
Well, we can't hear you, darling. Can you speak? Okay. So reference the movie. I can't read my writing. Girl. About Okay, so tell me about the movie Girl.
Oh, that was just a cute movie that kind of came out before Almost Famous. It was about a girl that kind of became a groupie for this up and coming rock star from Seattle. And it was just really kind of showcasing a kind of more innocent way to showcase the Seattle scene in a way. And it was Dominique Swain and Portia de Rossi's in it. What's her name? Oh God, she's such a good Selma Blair. Is that
Oh,
yeah,
I love
Selma Blair.
Selma Blair.
Yeah,
What's the name of
she's
that movie? I'm gonna
amazing.
go look at it.
Yeah, and it's just a cute little movie about a girl coming of age in the Seattle grunge scene.
What movie?
Girl with
Girl.
Dominique Swain.
Mm.
I'm gonna go look for that one because I like Selma Blair.
Yeah, because I've made my own notes saying Seattle grunge groupie.
Yeah, yeah,
But
she is.
well, you went into the grunge scene, or were you? Were you?
Oh yeah, I lived in Seattle during the grunge scene. I with Eddie. I was with Eddie Vedder. Um, I hung around all those guys. They like groupies just like all the other musicians.
Of
And that's
Oh
course.
yeah,
weird
I
that
was
we were
at
at
the
the same
babysit
show,
Lane Staley during the Lollapalooza tour.
and it's weird we never ran into each. We probably were at the same shows and did not run into each other.
Oh yeah, we were definitely at the same shows.
Because
Oh,
me and my wife used to go to all the shows around town, like sometimes 3 or 4 a week. We'd go to
Yeah,
shows like that.
I mean, I
I
was never really into grunge personally, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see the attraction. I was never into it, but what was the difference you say between the groupies in the grunge scene and the groupies in the rock and roll scene?
the groupies in the
Showers.
grunge scene pretended they weren't groupies. They pretended they were
Yeah.
girlfriends. Well, I miss Haunt. I ghost him, and ghosting meant that was somebody you just sort of had a sleeping relationship with. Back then it doesn't mean what it means now, but they pretended they weren't groupies, and then the rock chicks were like, hell yeah, we are.
And then less hairspray.
Less
Let's
hairspray, a
hairspray.
lot more black eyeliner.
Let's hairspray. I swear, in the 80s, we damaged the ozone layer.
Oh, we so
And
did.
then and more clothes. The 80 girls wore less clothes than the grunge girls.
But the grunge girls always had some sort of tube top on underneath their little jackets and their leggings over their mini skirts.
And their baggy pants, which I
Yeah,
liked. I like the grunge girls.
yeah.
Catherine would like to know: did you like Rockstar? I did like Mark Wahlberg with long hair. Goodness, these long-haired musicians are my weakness.
Yeah, they are a weakness. The addiction, Catherine knows. But I like the movie and the fact that it really did tell the story of Judas Priest, how they got their second singer. Kirk Cuddy is so Glenn Tipton, 150%. But I did not like the way it portrayed the groupies because they were like 12 girls lining up to sleep with the lead singer all at the same time, and these big, huge orgy parties going on. That was nothing that I knew in the 80s. And it just kind of made the 80s ladies a parody by that movie.
Right.
But it
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
a fun movie. Don't get me wrong; it was fun. And Glenn hated it because it was told off the story of Judas Priest. Oh yeah, it was Kirk Cuddy.
right.
Well, it was, but it wasn't. Also, it mirrored it a little bit.
Yeah,
So JH said they're completely different. Yeah, I imagine because the genres of music were completely different. But I imagine the rock groupies were a lot more like hip, right?
yeah. We were a lot more bold, and we were not afraid to be called groupies. We owned our stuff. We didn't hide behind a muse or oh, I'm the girlfriend type of thing. It's like, yeah, we were the girlfriends just for that night.
Oh, we're all the girlfriends.
Yeah.
We're all the girlfriends. So, hang on. Mountain biking with John Whistle, the bass guitarist from The Who. Tell me about
Yeah.
that.
Oh, was he talking about, because the bass guitarist from The Who is the one that died next to me in bed.
Yeah.
And we actually first met in 1989 backstage in Boulder, Colorado. Like I said, Sweet Sweet Connie from the song Sweet Sweet Connie, she's doing to act the Grand Funk Railroad. She was out on the tour, and a couple roadies that knew us all were like, we should get the Salt Lake City Sisters out here, be a clash of the titans between them and Connie. And we love Connie. She was one of the sweetest people. But yeah, I met John backstage in 1989. Took him about 2 years to get me into bed because
Oh, you've
he
been
just
waiting for a
well, he
while.
just married his second wife,
Okay.
Maxine, who I'm now friends with on Facebook. But he just married her, and I was like, well, what? No, I'm not sleeping with you, dude. I mean, I walked out on James Hetfield the night I met him because he was like, girlfriend, blowjobs only. I was like, yeah, bye. But so when I know him and his wife were separating, and she went to rehab and, um, had a moment of weakness and had an affair with somebody else and got pregnant with that man's child,
Oh,
which rightfully so, John had put her through the ringer. But
Was
it wasn't until then that he and I actually hooked up.
Allison, was that the time when you met John? When you guys hitchhiked out and you met the serial
Yeah,
killer
that was
people?
when we hitchhiked out to the Who because they're like, we'll fly you out. We're like, no, we got this. And we ended up hitchhiking from Salt Lake City to Denver.
tell
And
me
you
about
rode
the
with some
mountain
little
biking story when you were with the band formerly known as Led Zeppelin. You showed up at the
When we
concert
were
all
hanging
bruised
out
up. Yeah, tell us about that.
So Danny and I were hanging out with the guys in with Jimmy Page and Robert Plant. This is their Walking to Clarksdale tour. And there's a couple stories from that one. But we've been hanging out with them, a couple days, having a picnic with champagne and sandwiches. And Danny and I decided to go mountain biking because we had plans with my sister. And we got to a mountain bike wreck. Like, just I went flying over the handle. She flew over me. My face was bruised. She had a black eye. And we still went to that concert that night. Those boys, Jimmy Page was still waving at us from the stage. Hey, ladies! You know? So yeah. If you're friends with the band, they don't care, bruises and all. If it's not, it's like I said, if you're not injured by the end of the night, it's not rock and roll.
It's not rock and roll.
Exactly.
Raymonda, did you want to speak? See if we can hear you. Did you want to say anything? So see if your mic's working.
I don't think she hears you.
Oh, you don't hear me, Raymonda? No, I don't think she can hear me. Can you hear me, sweetheart? No. Sorry. Oh, we can't hear you. I'm sorry, darling. We can't hear you.
We've had a lot of audio trouble tonight.
I know this time it's not me. The mic's over here. It's not me this time. Yeah. So what the whole experience, because I mean there's so many stories, so many people, all kind of artists. You're in the New York scene. I can't hear Amanda, darling. I can't hear you, darling. I see you speaking, but I can't hear you. She may have a delay. I don't know. I just can't hear at all.
Go out and come back in.
What in one word, how would you describe it all? Alison.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. I love that.
Fabulous.
I love that because I don't know if you know the show Absolutely Fabulous.
Oh, one of my favorites.
One of my favorites. One of my favorites, Alison.
Yes,
I swear to God.
I've just grown up to be Patsy, I think. Black hair.
I was always the other one, Edwina.
I loved it though. Still love it. Still never get sick of that show. Absolutely
Right.
love it.
I don't know why we can't hear Amanda. I mean, like she can't. I don't think she can hear me, and we can't hear her. So
Can't hear Wicked either.
I'm here.
I know. That was a joke because you never talk.
So, was there any times that you were in a situation and you thought, shit, I don't want to be in this situation, Alison?
Yeah. John Christ, when he was like the lamest sex I've ever had. And Brett Michaels. Brett
Damn.
Michaels, when he was down on me, and I was like, oh, yeah, we're not even going farther than this.
Who? Allison, I missed the name.
Brett Michaels and
Oh,
Jonathan from Ford, both of them, they
uh,
went down on me. I was like, yeah, excuse me, dude. Tap, tap, tap. I'm tapping out. Bye. Yeah.
Damn.
what guitar
Well,
player
come
were
on,
you
ladies.
with?
You know, if that's not good, it's not getting any better from there.
What guitar player from Korn were you with?
No,
Brian?
I was with the lead singer. Then I went with, I think, was it Monkey? What was his name? I don't remember his name. He was just better than John.
Well, I hung out with for a few minutes. I hung out with Brian, the guy who went Christian and left the band and then came back. Super cool dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a picture with him. I'll send it to you.
nice.
So who was the best in the
Oh,
bedroom?
Dave Gahan from Depeche Mode.
Oh.
That's, I mean, that, yeah, your eyes will roll back in your head. Mick Jagger does give a pretty good head, though.
You got your box eaten by Mick Jagger?
That's some.
It's
I
Nice.
gobbled his cock. You know, he could use a little more girth.
He did have a
you're
very large mouth, though. I imagine it covered.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
covered.
dude, trust me. That, dude.
DJ's like, no way. I'm like, you had your box eaten by Mick Jagger. Oh my god.
That's why I got the VIP. The all access.
can't get no satisfaction.
But Mick is really, truly one of the nicest people. He really is. He's so down to earth. He's super nice. He's actually a great dad.
I'm still shocked that you got your box eaten by Mick Jagger. I'm like, wow.
I was sure. I was like, yeah, no tap tap for you. Keep going, dude. You know.
I'm just like, ooh. Yeah, like Lady Luck says, mixing the notes, my Pandora down further. Yeah, I'm just like blown away. Other than being good at giving head, right? What was he like as a person? Because he's quite flamboyant, isn't he?
He's, you know what? He's actually just really down to earth. He's so easy to talk to. He's very much how we kind of met is I knew some people working for him, and I'd always wanted to meet him. And my friend and I were on the back of the stage where they keep all their wardrobe and their guitars. Sugar Ray was playing the opening band, and Mick was not in town the night before, so I just, a couple of the roadies put us on the guest list, and we were on the back of the stage, and my friend wanted to touch the guitars. And I was like, just touch him, baby. And she's like, but I don't want to seem like a fool. I'm like, so just pretend to trip over him and be like, oh, I accidentally touched the guitar. I'm like, look, see, whoops, I accidentally fell into Mick Jagger's shirt. Hold on, I'll be right back with it.
Oh,
Okay, guys, I'm back.
Oh, we can hear
I'm
you,
back.
Amanda. Excellent.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Okay,
my gosh.
okay, so
Oh my
I was
gosh.
trying
I'm
on
so
Mick
glad
Jagger's
that I
shirt.
could.
But I was trying on Mick Jagger's shirt when he saw me, and I turned around and was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry! I didn't mean to put your shirt on." He's like, "Darling, that's okay." He's like, "You could keep it if that's all you're wearing later tonight." Kept the shirt.
Oh, there
Yes.
you go.
Yes.
Kept the shirt. Still
Love
wear
it,
the button.
Allison. Yes.
Raymanda, you know Alison, right?
I've met her online. Uh-huh. She's
Yes, you
gorgeous.
are, darling. Yes, it's so good to see your face. I'm glad I can finally hear you, though.
Yeah. I'm glad I met it on. Great
I
This is
know.
story.
this is what's good about live. You could see your audience if they want to come up and hang out. That's what I like about
Yeah,
the
well,
live.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to get Kristen because I want to do a live with Kristen, and I've been trying to get her back up to Salt Lake, but she just with the wildfires and stuff. Oh hell no, I hate Kid Rock. Even back then, I thought he was a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't know anything about these people. So,
Yeah.
Kid Rock, was it an asshole? Dumbass?
No, he was just like he was kind of a doofus who thought he was a god back then. I crossed paths with him in Vegas, and I didn't find anything. Like he was trying too hard and too desperate. And it wasn't just me, it was a whole room full of people.
I wanted to ask you very quickly. You done a groupie drive by of Frank Hannon Tesla, and left you a bit surprised. Can you tell us about that story and tell us what that was
Yeah.
about?
So I was hanging out with Rick Savage of Def Leppard. But there was this new band, Tesla, that was totally hot guys, Frank Hannon and Tommy Skio. And I was leaving the hotel bar to go to the bathroom and walking across the lobby, and I saw them, and they were like, hey. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to fuck you guys later. Just, I want to fuck you both. Hold on. You know,
Oh wow! And did
basically.
you fuck them both?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I had them
wow!
both later, and then went back upstairs, made Rick get in the shower with me, and stayed the night with Stabby.
Wow! Classic grunge. Welcome to the panel.
Hello, can you guys hear me? Can you
All
guys
I
hear
can
me?
see is the merchandise.
Classic grunge. Can you speak, sweetie?
Yes, I'm whispering.
Why are you whispering?
It's like 3 a.m.
Okay.
Hey, girl, how you doing?
I'm alright. You finally get to hear my deep as fuck voice.
Oh, it's a beautiful voice. Never be ashamed of how you sound.
Yes.
Is classic grunge one of your people, Alison?
Yep, remote. That's part of my awesome
Oh,
family over here. I love my family that I've got to meet over at Cocktails and
Yeah.
Rocktail. I've just been so friggin' lucky. Like I love everybody over there.
And this
Yeah.
is why I wanted this interview to happen, because two communities can collide and we have new people in each community.
You know, Allison, I saw the new documentary, Becoming Led Zeppelin, and I thought about you and your stories with Plant and Page
Yeah,
while I was
how'd you
watching
like
it.
it? I heard it was pretty good.
It was really interesting, and it was pretty historical. It was more about the history, about how the band formed, and what inspired them to all to become musicians and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, it was really good,
Did
really
they
really
talk
Well,
about
I'm
good.
the
glad they
Edgewater
finally did
Hotel?
something in that aspect with them because we're all getting a little tired of what is the one movie that they did 1,000 years ago where Robert was King Arthur?
Oh, the song remains the same.
Yes, yes, that's it.
Did they talk about the Edgewater Hotel?
Dude, Carmine Appice was at the Edgewater Hotel. I used to look at that hotel from West Seattle every night
Yeah.
with the
That
mud
was some
shark
crazy
incident.
shit. Yeah. And fishing out the window. Yeah.
Those
We used to
70s
eat.
groupies, man, they did a hell of a lot more than us 80s groupies would have.
Well, they were walked all over. You girls weren't walked all over.
No. And a snapper
Yeah,
was a
80s ladies
piece
were
they put into
independent.
our crotch.
Here's a question from that I've been sent. Alison, can you tell me about the tarot card reading prior to John's passing?
Oh God, yeah. So, and it was a while before. So it was about '99. I had one of my other lovers who was non-rock and roll had an old roommate from college who I was really good friends with, and we happened to run into each other in Vegas, and we kind of started dating. And he was a Saudi prince, and so this lady, our house mom, she was also at the strip club at Little D's. She also did tarot reading. So I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to go over to the Middle East for the first time. You know, so I had her give me a tarot reading. And she kept, she was talking about I lost my luggage, which I did on the way home. It got delayed in Amsterdam. There was a delay on the way. Then I got delayed in Amsterdam for 24 hours. Woo! But so she's like, this cards just kept coming up. This guy, she couldn't tell if he had black hair or white hair, but he kept invading. This guy was invading the reading. And she's like, he's gonna change your life. And the death card came up. And it was John. She read about John 2 years, 3 years before it happened. And just was like, he's going to change your life. She's like, I can't tell if he has black hair, if he has white hair. And John originally had black hair and then let his hair go natural to the white hair. So, yeah, she's like, and the death card came up right there. And I didn't even think anything of it until after that happened. I was like, well, wasn't that a prediction?
Well, normally the death card in tarots means like the end of an era, the beginning of
Yeah,
another. So that's
yeah.
normally what
It usually
tarot.
doesn't mean specific death by any means,
Right.
but it kept invading that reading. She's like, I do not know why this keeps coming up, and it just kept invading the reading.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Because
hindsight of 2020.
I didn't even know the death card meant literally death. I didn't know
It
that.
can in certain times, not very often.
And look, you know, I guess when he did pass, that was the first thing that kind of come to your mind, right? That reading.
A couple days later, because when he was passing, yeah, it was the first couple days. It was just like, yeah, I was just so still in shock, you know. And then sometime a few days later, I was like, oh my god, I remember that reading. What the hell?
Ah.
Yeah,
What was Billy Idol like?
motherfucker. No I'm kidding. Billy's cool. I like him. I like Billy. He is funny as hell. He's cheeky as hell. He's just himself. He's a cool guy, but he used to, you know, get a little trouble with a couple of the guys I used to hang out with, and I'm like, no, you can't go out with Billy tonight. You know? And Billy was cool, and he's just always been himself. Like, if he had writer's block in the studio, he'd go to get a couple hookers off the street, make sure they relieved that writer's block. Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He
All
just
righty then.
but he's just himself. I always liked Billy.
Get one on the phone. What do you mean, DJ? So I just want to go into some book quotes that you've done, and if you could elaborate. So, first one, music is just part of my being. I love it. The way it can transport your mood and mind. Tell
Yes,
us about.
ma'am.
Exactly. I mean, ladies here, I think we all know, you know, classic grunge and Bermuda. We all know music just, whether it's that one song, you know, I always say, you know, a lot of people are like, oh my God, that lead singer looked at me on stage. I'm like, you think that transports you? Wait till you meet them. You know,
Right.
that tiny second you share with that lead singer on stage, imagine sharing so much more than that. And it's just, music made so much sense to me as where my soul kind of belonged, you know? And that's kind of what it means. It took me home, and it's always there for me.
Hey DJ, that's not going to happen. She's not going to call one of the rock stars up on the phone right now. First of all, it's way too late.
No, most of them are asleep. We're all old now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm feeling old. I go to bed very early.
But they
So
all
another
know
one.
about my YouTube channel. They all know about the book, you know.
Okay, they're all aware that you wrote the book, and you know
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Yes, and I love it.
Amanda dropped the phone.
oh, thank you, my classic grunge hon.
Yep.
So, what about once I knew these guys were accessible, there was no stopping me.
Exactly what it said. Once I knew I could get to him, I was like off and running. I was like, when's the next band coming to town? And like I say, after May of 1988, I'm surprised I could walk. Seriously, there was a new band in town every other day.
Yeah, you were having fun, which is great.
Yeah.
You know, we need to have more fun, ladies. We need to have more fun.
We do. I encourage
Mhm.
everybody to get out there. All the ladies that want to go be a groupie, get that ID, go to the hotel bar, play the game. The
Yeah.
band game is the easiest game you will ever play in your life.
And
Yeah.
it's
I'm gonna
easy
go crazy this
being
summer.
on the other end. When a girl comes up to you, we're good. We're gonna take it.
We're gonna take it.
It's true. And nobody's off limits. I mean,
We just lost part of you guys.
I even toured with Striper, the religious band. They were not so into Christian.
Where'd they go?
Where are you,
Um,
Sean?
so I liked that men with all the musical power could potentially become putty in my inexperienced hands.
And who wouldn't love that? You know, those rock stars become putty in your hands. You're like, that's part of the addiction. It's very enticing. What woman that doesn't love it when the guy that is just a god in their world, you
Right.
know, doesn't become at her feet doing exactly what she asks. And they're always the nicest guys. Don't get me wrong. They always are like so sweet.
I mean, yeah, I can't even begin to imagine, because obviously, people that you idolize, people that you see, your performers, the entertainers, and like you
Yeah,
said, the pat in your hand. I can't even begin to imagine how powerful you felt.
exactly. You felt powerful. You felt beautiful. You felt adored. You felt just like that little girl. It's just like when I saw John Taylor with Duran Duran, I'm like, my 12-year-old self went, yeah, daddy. Yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
Sean.
exactly. And you buy the breakfast the next morning. No I'm kidding.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, I do think that though now, because we talked about it earlier, it has changed. I don't think that we would have the same kind of access that you had once upon a time. I think it's a very
I
different
think it's
world.
still achievable because, a lot of people were like, oh, Robert Plant, Mick Jagger, The Who, they're all such gods that you just can't even get near them. But some bitches
Mm.
want to make a bet? Hold my beer. So I think it's just really what you put into it and how you approach things. And I always say, don't date the rock star, date the man they are off stage. Get to know them.
Right.
And I think it's still accessible, honestly.
You
I
think
just think we
because
need more girls to get out there to the hotel bar and put smiles back on their faces.
I mean, I've never tried it myself personally, but yeah, if you can get into the hotel, I mean, is that easily accessible? That information, like where to stay,
Yeah, just like I said, find the hotel buses or
the
find the band
hotel.
buses because the band buses are always going to look different from a tourist bus. So they're
Right.
they're just right there. Find those band buses, go to the hotel, you will meet them in no time. The rock and roll is a creature of habit. It has not changed
Really, to this day, you don't think it's
to
changed?
this day. To this day, was just hanging out a couple months ago. Have someone else coming in March. We're all going to be at the hotel bar before we go to dinner. We're going to be there after dinner.
There you go, guys. Some tips from an expert. So,
Yep.
hey, Kels, how you doing, my love? Just very quickly, once rock and roll has you, it has you. Just not usually tied to a chair. Tell me about the story behind that quote.
Oh God. So, um, it was Cinderella, Brittany Fox. I can't remember who else was playing, but the lead singer of Brittany Fox, really good looking guy, Dizzy Dean. He wanted me and he was going to have me. I was like, no. He's like, no, just come in my dressing room. Come in my dressing room. And he tied me to a damn chair. He wasn't doing anything mean. He just wanted to keep me hidden from everybody else. He was trying to cock block everybody else. So next thing you know, I come out. I finally get the door open with my little arm, and I'm like, I've been in this chair for an hour. Nobody's coming for me. So I come right. It was David Lee Roth. That's who it was, and come running out, and then here I am with the chair. I'm like, hey, anybody help me? Well, I'm still tied to
Wow.
the chair.
Well, I mean, did you not panic when he tied you to a chair?
At first, no, but
No.
when he left the dressing room, yes, I started panicking.
He just saved you for later.
That's what he was trying to do, but I had other agenda. I didn't want to save him for later.
Oh my goodness. And Carson Ross says, my wife just came into the room and realized that Alison's on panel. She's listened to your audiobook.
Oh, nice! Thank you so much for listening to that. I mean, I know my book's not perfect, so anytime anybody enjoys it, it just really truly means the world to me.
No, but it's authentic to you. It wasn't written by
Yeah.
anybody else. It's raw and authentic to you.
Yep.
So I think that's perfect as it is. Um,
Oh, thank you.
Rampage, did you have another question? Is your audio fixed? I don't know if you had
Check
another
one
question.
two. Check one two.
Oh,
Oh,
excellent. Yes.
perfect.
Mel, I've been on your channel.
Yeah.
I've been on your channel like a million times. I guess it's just this one time. That's okay. Allison, did you ever meet Neil Strauss, author of The Dirt?
Yeah, I did cross paths with Neil Strauss a couple times. That not like had long conversations or anything. We just happened to be in the same places at the same time. Hey, how you doing? Went on.
Okay,
Chicken
okay.
Snake,
So
I'm going to
funny
mute
thing
you
is,
for a minute because you've got a really bad echo.
oh, who's that? Go
That's Chicken Snake.
Chicken Snake.
Any more questions, Rampage?
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, I've met people. Neil Strauss kind of started almost the pickup artist community, and then he kind of moved to with other kind of pickup artists. So I just like this connection between the pickup artists and the rock and roll scene, and I'm just piecing it all together.
Yeah. No, I think Neil Strauss is really talented. I like the way he did the dirt. I like the way he kind of brought a lot of good things out of it, but still kept with the true debauchery.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Dawson, you look like a fan of rock and roll because obviously you've changed your T-shirt a few times. I guess Alison's probably like a superstar, right? Because
I'm just showing off, Mel.
you're just showing off.
I love a good rock T-shirt.
Yeah, I mean, you've changed a few times and you've got your pictures, which is great. It's amazing.
I love it.
You're
I'm
an
going to
avid
Cleveland.
fan.
I'm going to Cleveland to see AC/DC.
Ah.
I live in Toronto, so I'm going to drive to Cleveland to the Rock
Nice.
and Roll Hall of Fame, and this is from their Who Made Who tour. So this is an
Yep.
official T-shirt from the '88 tour,
I
and
remember that tour.
I like sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
You'd be both, hon. You'd be both. Let me see. Where's my pass for that?
Yeah, I don't hang on. Just saying goodnight to somebody. Don't all men like sex, drugs, and rock and roll? If not rock and roll, different
On
genre.
Thursdays. Yeah, on Thursdays.
I guess probably the last thing I'd say is, like, I took probably notes. Like, I took notes.
Nice.
I'd like to interview you on my channel sometime. I left my
Okay.
email in the back chat somewhere, and I just got more questions. And in the future, I'd like to keep in touch.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to do it. I'd love to have a chat with you anytime.
Thank you.
And guys, my channel as well. Guys, sub up to Alison. I mean, she's cool
Yeah.
as fuck. Just the coolest. I mean, as soon as we started talking, I was like, yeah, this is my kind of girl.
I know. The second I started talking to Bill, I'm like, oh yeah, she and I are gonna get along.
My kind of girl. I mean, the fact that, like you said in your quotes in your book, you had all that power. I mean, I have to commend you for that. I mean, good on
it
you.
is addicting. You have the power to turn these guys into putty, and you have them to turn them into little boys, or to turn them into Superman. With one little word.
I want to have that power, Alison. I want to have that power.
But everybody can have that power. If you want it, you can have it. It's just like
Exactly.
that look of the geisha, that whole kind of proverbial. You just give them that look, and you say just the right stupid little thing that makes them laugh.
I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed about Axl Rose because obviously he's an extremely good-looking man, and the fact that you told me he was stinky, I'm like, damn.
It was like I said, he just soaked himself in Marlboro Lights. I was just like, oh God, dude, like I could smell that for a week
What you
on
got
my
there?
JJ. Oh, that's a cool one.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this was the 80s, I think Guns N' Roses would have been my band to hang out with. Like
They
yours
were
with Metallica.
brilliant back then, though. I mean, watching that original band with Izzy Stradlin, and they were absolutely brilliant to watch on stage back then. Now it's like they don't even like each other. You could tell.
Oh,
And
Izzy
well,
Stradlin. I want to fuck him so bad.
Who do you want?
seeing him in the clubs was even crazier back when I still lived in LA before I moved here in the '90s.
Oh yeah.
Saw him at the Troubadour.
Oh, I love the Troubadour. That's where I met Lemmy.
Yeah, well, of course. Well, or the Rainbow. That's where I met Lemmy.
Michael Biglieri had just passed away last year. The son of the owners of the Rainbow, who took it over. His son actually runs it now. Greg runs it now.
Kels would like to know, did you know Sebastian Bach?
Oh yeah, hung out with him a few times. We talked about him running through the hotel fountain naked. Really fun guy.
I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, we were all supposed to do it, but he's the only one that actually did it.
Can I ask you, last quote of the book? and I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you what this means. Now, don't you wish you were Penny Lane, rivalry backstage at Aerosmith concert? Tell us about that.
Oh, that was the girls I was telling you when the VIP Visa meet and greet passes came out. Like you could get the you could buy a VIP pass, you have a meet and greet, is what we call it. But those passes are very limited. When you have a backstage pass, it doesn't mean you could go everywhere backstage. And these were just for this one area. You could go in the room. And there were these women that were a little bit older than me. And they had seen me sitting on a road case talking to Tony Bongiovi, who was John's cousin, I believe. A couple other roadies that I knew from other tours. I was just kicking back, talking to him. And they walked by me. They're like, oh, look, it's Penny Lane. Because the movie Almost Famous had just come out. And I was like, the hell was that? I just ignored him. And then when I was going back to the dressing rooms, you had to have specific passes to go back to where the dressing rooms were. They were arguing with the security guard because they were like, they couldn't go back there. But we have these VIP passes. He's like, no, those are meet and greet. Those are, one and done. You're out of here. And they were bitching at the security guard. And I knew the security guard. I just held up my purse because I don't really put my pass on my clothes. I had it on my purse, so I just held it up. And they're like, well, she's going there. I'm like, yeah, don't you wish you were Penny Lane? And they
Yeah,
just were like, I was like, yeah, I heard you bitches.
and you didn't buy your pass. They bought their pass. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I had been around Aerosmith a long time by then.
Yeah. I've never once bought a VIP package.
No,
No, don't pay for them. You can meet the band at the hotel bar. It's free.
It's
Exactly.
free, guys. We need to go to the hotel bars.
I don't think meet and creeps are worth it because you can't really buy relationships. You can't buy companionships.
Right.
Very well said. Totally agree with that. Because I'm not buying an experience. I'm just like I said, hanging out with my tribe.
Yeah, your friends.
Yeah.
Right, and you can't really buy like Bunch said, you can't buy like that kind of thing, that friendship that you developed, because
You
like
either
said,
have it or you don't.
right.
Exactly. Look, I mean, Sean and I have been friends for 30 some odd years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
1989. So however long that was.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
It's amazing.
You know what that means, guys? That means we're fucking old, but you know what? We still got the mental.
Whatever. We're Gen X. We don't age.
Yeah, we don't age.
Yeah.
I still go up in the front of. I still go to shows. I still get to the front. I still hang out towards the mosh pit. I just don't mosh as much.
Yeah.
So,
I still hang out backstage. I'm not dealing with the crowd. No kidding.
I mean, it must be amazing being able to go backstage, watching it from, I'd imagine from the side of the stage, right? Because I mean, I've been to plenty of concerts, never had the fortune to be able to go
It's just,
backstage.
it's just an easy place to watch the show. You don't have to worry about general admission. You're not up at the nosebleeds. So you can just sit back and enjoy the show and go rate their beer.
And
So
drink their beer.
this is funny because the band that I used to work with, the band that I worked with when I met Allison, I went and saw them recently, and they're like, "You gonna watch from the side of the stage?" I'm like, "Fuck no!" And they're like, "Why?" I'm like,
That
"Because
one
the
looks familiar,
energy."
Sean.
Let me have a look.
Who is that? I can't see it really. Is that Danny? Oh, yeah, well, I couldn't see it so small. That's my best friend, but he's kind of he's a little weird now. But anyways, he's the one that goes, "Are you gonna watch from the side of the stage?" I'm like, "Hell no!" And he goes, "Why?" I'm like,
Allison,
"Because
can
the
we see that
energy is
again?
in front row, and that's where I want to be."
The photo.
Oh, here. This is the lead singer of the band Sean used to work for, Ron Reinhardt.
Yeah, long hair.
Show the picture of me, but hide your sister.
Why the hell do I have? Oh my God! I have an old PIN number on the back of this picture.
That was probably his beeper.
Yeah, right.
That's me in the middle.
Oh my God! Look at you, Chicken Snake.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you!
Wow.
Wow, Chicken Snake.
Look at those shorts I was wearing. I thought I was Anthrax.
That was December 31st of 1989.
I went to jail in those shorts.
Oh yeah, you did.
I was scared. I was like, "Oh, these are too pretty to go to jail in." I thought I was gonna be someone's bitch.
Alison, your hair is beautiful. It's so shiny and healthy.
Oh, thank you. I did wash it today. I washed it last night.
Well,
No, Allison,
Jake's hair was pretty
hands
impressive.
down, you have the best looks.
Oh, thank you, hon.
Uh-huh.
It's, you know what? Looks on the outside are nothing if you don't have some cool shit on the inside. So anybody who's
Yeah,
cool on the inside is beautiful on the outside.
100%, 100%.
Yep.
100%, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm so glad to see like Ramunda's faces. It's so awesome to speak with you, Miss Classic Grudge. I mean, it's just so cool to see everybody's beauty. I love you guys so much, really, truly. I
I
say
am
it at the
so glad.
beginning of every episode, and I still mean it right now.
I'm so glad that you two wanted to do it. I mean, I asked Mel if she would do an interview. Then I wouldn't ask you if you would want to do an interview. I'm so glad you both said yes because this is pretty badass. And now
I
you
am
got
so
it
Yes,
done.
totally
this
too.
is.
I'm truly enjoying myself. But I'm gonna go here pretty soon because it's like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my old ass needs to sleep.
that's no
And then you
worries.
got
No
an
worries.
interview with this guy down there. So I need to sub up to this dude's channel to watch your interview over there.
Yeah. And send me the
Dawson,
link.
what's your
And
channel
to
name?
Sean and Mel, they know how to get a hold of me on Facebook and stuff. So yeah, just shoot me a message or friendship.
Yeah, I mean, what's your Dawson? What's your channel name?
Rampage
Cocktails
video
and
channel.
Rocktails.
Rampage videos. I'm going to write that down because I'm
Oh,
going to.
Rampage videos. Okay, let me get that.
Yeah.
Put it in
So
there. So put it in the link so I could go watch his shit.
Okay.
Rampage video, so we can sub up and connect because I see that you've got that rocker look as well, Dawson. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the hair. So Alison, lastly, so to anyone who would like to attempt to become a groupie now in today's world, which is very, very different, um, top 5 tips.
Top 5 tips. Never ever have expectations because we all look at that lead singer. We're like, oh, we're gonna walk in the hotel bar. This is how it's gonna go. It's gonna be lovely. There's gonna be stars shooting out my asshole. Never have expectations because it's not gonna stay true to them all the time, and you'll never be disappointed if you don't have expectations. Don't, like I said, never talk about the music. Let them be themselves who they are off stage. Get your asses to the hotel bar. Always carry a toothbrush and an extra pair of panties in your purse. Gotta have that. And never be afraid of the walk of shame. You just slept with a rock star. Everybody else would kill to do that walk of shame.
And if people if you're doing that rock of shame and people are talking shit, they're just mad because you got to do the rock of shame and they weren't able to
Yeah.
do the walk of shame. Welcome.
And that's it. Hopefully you can't walk it that well the next morning if it was good enough.
Even if you're limping.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've
And
had a
let's
couple
not
of
forget,
walk of shames, back home. Aren't they wonderful? Those,
I
and
love a
let's
good
not
walk of
forget,
shame.
let's not forget,
the
take
hair's
care
all
of your
over the
man.
place. You have no more makeup left. You don't even know if your clothes are fitting you properly
Got your
anymore.
bed hair. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
going walking out with your bed hair in the morning going, uh-huh. If
Why
you
is that
don't
said?
have bed hair, it wasn't that fun.
No, bed hair, bed hair is never that fun. I'm just saying that I quite like the bed hair look. And
I
Wise Ass McCoy says lots of vitamin C.
I hate the dumpling crew.
What was that chicken's name?
Oh, I mean,
Oh, okay, he muted. Anybody has any final questions before Alison goes, whether it be in chat or on panel?
Oh, yes, Allison, had you been a 70s groupie, would you be as happy with the scene?
No, I don't think I would have because, um, as I was telling Belle earlier, the '70s groupies we weren't quite there as feminism goes. We were getting there, we were almost there, and they were still kind of trinkets in the rock and roll world. They were kind of the little girls, and the rock stars still were the end all be all of the world. In the '80s, we flipped it around. So no, I'm happy being an '80s groupie. I wouldn't change it.
And how would you spoke about during an interview about women and society and just people talking down on you and treating you and talking to you like you were hoes. How to those aspiring groupies, how do they deal with that negativity?
Ignore it. Ignore it and know what you have. Know why you're there. Know that you have friendships with those guys. Know that you have your own little world, and those people just are assholes on the outside.
And
Don't
they
let them.
want to be
Don't let
you,
any of them get to you.
and they want to be you. That's the only reason they're talking shit about you.
Yep.
I agreed. You know, because I know that sometimes, you know, when people are harsh, they're harsh. You know,
Yeah.
so that's why I was asking, how does one cope with the negative aspect of it?
Well, these days you could just block them, which is kind of nice.
Right. Yeah, just block.
Or do what I do. I just hide them from the channel so that they can still see us and they can put up bitchy comments and we can never see them.
We know a lot about that in this community and the other
Yeah.
community that I'm in. Tell you, it's crazy.
It is crazy. Before you leave, tell us about your channel and, you know, moving forward, what you'd like to do with your channel, Alison.
You know what? Every day, I don't know. I just kind of let it where it goes. Honestly, a lot of the family, you know, as Classic and Ramunda know, you guys and Kathleen and everybody, they kind of give me guides, and I take 100% suggestions from these guys. And I will be doing the Mary Ann Faithful. You know, I think it's really important to let the family kind of guide you because you're here for them. You know,
Yeah.
and hopefully I can sell the purchase rights to my book, and we'll have a We've Got Tonight series.
Who's gonna play me with the squirt gun?
Brad Pitt.
All right, cool.
Oh, you want to film them at the book? You know, it would be an amazing film. I really
Oh no,
hope
I
that
want a series. That's too much to be a film.
Oh, you want a series?
Yeah.
I want to be part of it. Who can I
Yeah,
be?
especially the city of rock and
That
roll.
would be
What's so wrong with that?
that would be really good.
Yes.
Like on a yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
And Arnold Microphone Buff says the 1980s rock star groupies rocked the scene. They owned it. They did. Yeah.
You did.
They
I
own
think
it.
anybody who was alive, any woman that was adult and having a good time in the 80s just owned it because that was the first time we could own our whole world, you know?
That's right. I mean, in the 80s was the rise of the, you know, of the power to the girl power really was the
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
And what I mean, obviously I was alive. I was a bit young in the 80s, so I couldn't have enjoyed it fully, but you know, to be back in those times again, not Kelly, Alison, to be back in those
Well,
times.
you know what? I don't think I think we could still revive those feelings because look at the beautiful women here. You know, we've got a lot of strong, beautiful women that have been part of this chat, part of the talk tonight, everything. We could still be that. You know, I just think as a society, we're kind of very disconnected because of social media, but we're all connected. We just don't know how to parlay it to in person anymore.
No, I agreed. I don't know how we could go back to that, but I don't know if it's possible.
Just get it down to the hotel bar and get some of those guys off. Trust me, they'll all come around after that.
The dick.
But with all the social media nowadays and the video stuff, I don't think it will ever go back to the 80s style because there's too much way you can film shit.
Yeah.
And people some girls do some things that they don't really want to do at the next day. They get mad and they say the certain person did something that they didn't want them to do. It's just too hard nowadays, and I've seen it done so many times.
Yep.
And you know what I mean,
And with
Allison.
rise of, like we
No,
said,
I
with
do.
the
I know what you mean. I've had a girl try to accuse someone of assaulting her when that never happened. You know, if you're a victim,
oh yeah, that's in
then
your
you
book.
need
That's
your
in your book.
justice. You need to have your voice heard, but don't be playing games like that. No.
Yeah. Well, I got in a big fight. There was a, I think it happened in Seattle. There was a band called Decapitated. Oh, I can't remember the name of the band. Whatever the name of the band.
Battle Decapitation.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of it exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there was an incident that a girl rode with them on the tour bus to another city. You know what I mean, Allison? And some shit happened, and she was probably embarrassed and blamed them for a bunch of shit. They were put in jail for a long time until they figured it out, and it came out that she was lying about the whole thing. So, and I was saying in the beginning,
that. Yeah.
I want to believe the girls, but I've been around this situation. I know what people will do to get next to the band and then regret it afterward. So I don't believe it unless it all comes out. So
And then I'm
that's
going to do
another.
that last one right there. Did I ever go to Studio 54? I was not old enough to go to Studio 54 yet, even with the fake ID.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's a famous, very famous. I
Oh, I
went
would
there.
have loved it though.
What was that? Was that? I thought that was in the
God, I would
80s.
probably had to go through
No?
so much penicillin.
Studio 54, I think closed right around the 80s, 81,
Yeah,
82 maybe.
Oh, I
And
see. I
then,
didn't realize it was as early as that. I thought it was open throughout the 80s. I didn't
well,
realize
no,
that.
it probably was because I know there was a show there at Studio 54 with
no,
Slayer, Exodus, and
it,
Venom did that first Ultimate Revenge show a tour.
no,
Uh,
it closed pretty. It closed when I was even hanging out in New York, but Ian Traeger still has it. Like you could still rent Studio 54 out.
Oh,
yeah,
you can?
Yeah,
Anyone
but
else have any?
it's
Go on.
not what it was in the when it was the
no,
disco club. It's
no, you
nothing
won't
like
find
that.
Elizabeth Taylor and Andy Warhol there anymore.
It's just the structure.
Yeah.
What
But
about
all
any
right,
else
guys,
questions
I better
before?
get out of here because I'm about to fade out.
Well, thank you, Alison, for doing a 3.5 hour interview. I mean, like, wow,
No,
that was amazing. I hope
oh,
to get
it's been
you.
so much fun. I didn't even realize it was this late until I was like, wait a minute, I'm about to go. And it was that much fun.
Unfortunately,
It just flew by. And I just thank you so, so much for having me, Mel. Sean, thank you so much for setting this up. Truly. And just
Hey,
everybody for being here. It really means the world to me, truly.
it
you
flowed.
guys
It
say
flowed
so
like we
much
were
to
all
her.
friends forever. So, Allison,
Yeah.
I'll give you a call in a couple days.
All
Yeah,
right.
and
Bye,
please come
guys.
up to
Take care.
Alison.
And I'll
Thank
talk to you
you.
soon, Mel. And we'll talk to you, Rampage.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Expect. Go ahead.
Allison.
Thank you, Aaron.
Bye.
Bye,
Thanks, Buddha.
Allison.
Take care, you
Thank
guys.
you.
See you, Catherine.
Bye. 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 Guys, do
See ya,
sub up
see ya.
to Alison. She's cool as hell. You've heard the stories tonight. I mean, like, wow, just wow. I mean, the people that she's met. I mean, yeah, she definitely needs a series just to
I think it
stretch
would be
over.
really good.
I
She's
absolutely. I hope somebody does buy her book rights. Because she's
She just
cool as
got to sell.
hell.
She's got to sell more. She's got to sell more. So people buy the book, go read the book, go listen to the book.
she's
It's
such a
really
beautiful person. Such a
she
beautiful
is.
person.
She's like, yeah, one of my favorite that I still know her after almost 40 years in the business. I still know her. I had to ask her the other day, how did we reconnect? Because it's been many years since we talked in between when we first met and that New Year's night that picture was from. I think I reconnected with her about 15 years ago when before she was writing the book. I'm like, how the fuck you find me? She goes, I put your name in Facebook and there you popped up, and it was weird, but that's cool. I'm glad she did.
Yeah, Catherine said she's awesome. I bought a book Audible. Yeah, I mean, and guys, actually, you can even get it for free if there's a subscription thing, and
Yeah.
you can get it for free. So even if you can't afford it, you could still, in some countries, get it for free. I know that in Australia, somebody got it for free. I think it depends whereabouts you are in the world. When I looked at it, it was very, very reasonably priced. It was like a couple of
I
quid.
think it was $2.99 on Audible when I saw it, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I bought it."
And it's a cool book, guys. So I
I
hope
liked it.
I mean, just the names, like the fact that I still can't get over Mick Jagger ate her box.
Right?
There's a claim to fame. Like, damn.
That
Yes,
was one
guys. Huh?
one of many.
What was that chicken say?
I said one of many of the famous people that she's hung out with, and she's hung out with like a lot of littler bands that, in some genres they're bigger than those ones that just because she didn't discriminate on what kind of band she hung out with. If there was a good time to be had, she was there to have it.
Yeah, Robert, I'm going to have a look into that, darling, about that microphone. I've not heard of that one, darling, but I'll definitely have a look because I mean, I know we had those issues with the echoing, but I think it's because maybe my mic was picking up my speaker. That's why I moved it here, right? And it stopped. It stopped. So, yeah, I'll definitely have a look at that. How to become a rock star. Yes, you are, QI. You already are a rock star.
My sister just doxed my real name. Should I go yell at her?
What was that you could say?
I said my sister just doxed my real name. Should I go yell at her?
She did. I didn't say it. She did.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. My name's Sean. I don't give a fuck.
Everyone knows you're Sean.
I know.
So guys, I think on that note, there's an after party in the Discord group. If you don't want to come in and hang and chat with you, Lady Lux just posted the Discord link. If you're on Discord, I that was a great interview. So much fun. So many stories. So many celebrities. So much the gory details of what goes on behind the scenes, and and it was all new to me because I never got into the rock scene. So rock stars get boxed. They do, QI. Rock stars get a lot of box.
What about the box?
Rock stars get a lot of box.
Oh, they do. Even the road crew gets a lot of box.
Oh, the road crew gets a lot of box.
And most of the time, the road crew gets the boxes before the band gets the boxes because we're the one that introduces them to the band. So, we're the first line of defense.
The road crew get boxed before the rock stars?
A lot of the time.
Wow.
At least
so the rock stars get sloppy seconds?
Sometimes.
They get sloppy seconds, the rock stars?
Sometimes.
Oh, there you go. Okay,
Not all the time, but sometimes.
Sometimes. I've never tried it. I've never been a groupie, but fair play to Alison. What an extremely colourful life she's had, and good on her. Robert, I've taken a picture of the mics. I'm going to have a look that you've recommended. I'm going to have a look, even though I quite like this one because it's pink and it lights up. But I'll definitely have a look at those ones. You got aliens? Have I got aliens? No, well, you never know. Sometimes you never know.
That's another live.
That's another live. All right, guys. To Alison's crew, Romanda and Classic Grunge and Rampage Video, thank you for coming up and
Yes.
on the live. Thank you so much.
I had a wonderful time.
Please contact anytime. Our Discord link has expired. What does that mean?
Mine expired.
Discord? Oh, let me try it. Let me have a look. Hang on. I didn't even realize these things could expire. Damn.
Yeah, they do.
They do?
Yeah, they do.
Right. I'm gonna post it in the chat, but I don't even know what that means. What does that mean? That we need a new Discord link? What does that mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a Discord. I am crap at Discord. I know very little about Discord. Do girl singers do the same thing? I don't know.
I'm sure they do, but it's probably a little bit different.
Yeah, a little bit different. And Emily, thank you so much. So, Mission, thank you, sweetheart. And Mission, I hope that you returned that shirt with the fault that was on it. Although saying that, people have told me for you to keep it because one day, if I'm famous, that's going to be worth loads. Mission bought one of my merch T-shirts, and for whatever weird reason, it had a fault on the printing. Gussid link work. Gussid link? Aussie's link work. Oh, okay, thank you. Hi, darling. Right, guys, we're going to have a little after party in the Discord. You lot are all welcome to join if you have Discord. I will be back. You didn't return it. Keep it. It'll be worth money one day. It'll be worth a lot of money. I'll get you another one, Mission. I'll have to I don't know how I'm going to do it to send it to you, but we'll work that out. We can talk about it. So tonight I'm back with another live, completely different from tonight, but kind of same in a way. We're talking, and I don't normally do politics, but tonight I wanted to. It is tonight's one, Wiccan, isn't it? About Trump? Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to know the effects that Trump's is going to have on the entire world. It was a conversation that my dad and my brother were having, and it inspired me to do a live. So I'll get you.
You don't want to hear my thoughts on that.
Mission, we can work something out. Yeah, we need to, because I don't even know why that happened. Because I went back to look at the merch and I didn't see the fault. So I don't know what happened. So tonight we're doing that, and then we're back. and it's actually very appropriate because we're kind of going back to what tonight was about, and we're talking about P Diddy and with all these incidents that happen with Hollywood. Do you think it will ever change, or are we just going to see the same old shit time after time after time? It gets rushed under the carpet, and then people forget about it. We'll see.
It'll change a little bit, but it'll always go back to the way it was.
And we're going to be giving examples of all the things that have happened in Hollywood in the last kind of, with Nickelodeon, Einstein, Weinstein, all the Steins.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so now Diddy. Is anything ever going to change? Dude, girls, I know how the
I'll talk to you in Discord.
Yeah. All right, guys. So on that note, Mel's, thank you, people that have come up on my panel. Please feel free to come back any day. Wiccan, I need to talk to you about some stuff, like some behind the scenes stuff. And
Okay.
I will see you lot in the Discord group. I'll hang around for a little bit. And I hopefully will see you tonight for tonight's live.
Do you want me to stay on here, Mel?
Yeah, just stay on here for a minute. I'll play the outro. I had an honest cry about that very question tonight. Yeah. It was lovely meeting you, Raymanda. It was lovely meeting
you.
Lovely meeting you.
I'd love to chat with you again sometime.
Yes, please. Feel free to come up anytime, sweetheart. Anytime you want.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you again, Ramonda.
Okay. Thank you so much. I love you guys.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank you.
Bye, Ramonda.
Bye-bye, my love.
Bye-bye.
And Classic Grunge, hopefully we'll see you again on the panel. You're welcome anytime as well.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Classic Grunge.
Thank you.
Yay.
Right, guys. I'm going to do a little outro, and then I'm going to wrap up. I'm not going to do a redirect, guys. It's late. You lot can, I'm sure, probably. It's late in the US. Good night to everybody, and I will see everybody tonight. So let's play this tiny little outro. And okay, she says, and I can't find it. There you go.